Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to cover episode 7 of season 5 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled Ace Chemicals. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Yes, that's right, Dragon. A lot of stuff to talk over, not a lot of time. Let's get right into it. Of course, I was out of town this last week, and we needed to get some stuff done last night. But this is the soonest that we could do Gotham. But we're back, and you know what, Dragon? Gosh darn it! At least we managed to get it under the spot where the new episode came out. At least we're getting it out before episode 8 comes out. So my old participation trophy award for us, I guess, for that one. How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm looking very forward to talking about this episode. I was very hyped to get to this one. Of course, then someone went on a little trip, but now he's back, and now we're going to talk about things. But before we get any further, we have a few surprises and a few reveals around the corner of this episode, folks. It's a special episode, therefore breaking out some special new stuff for this season, this final season of exploring Gotham. And I'll gild the lily a little bit on it right now. You're going to see that as it happens throughout the show. We're going to get to some appropriate moments. We're going to kind of show you some mind-blowing stuff. Before that, I want to kind of read out some comments here, some specialties. Where one, we have someone in the comments. We have a friend. We have kind of a friend from the Just Giggle It Discord page. From kind of the Just Giggle It fan base. We have Nate Productions, otherwise known in the comments as Nathan VA. But again, in our hearts, it's Nate from Nate Productions. How you doing, Nate? He says, hello, y'all.
Nice to see you, Nate. Nice to see you. Sorry, late with this episode.
And how ceremoniously, again, Tiki, it's just the way the world works. I mean, this episode does talk about fate and destiny, but you know what? Maybe some fate and destiny here, because today, just to kind of start the show out right here, today is, or at least, the day, I don't want to get into semantics here. The point is, it's Nate's birthday. So happy birthday, Nate.
Happy birthday, Nate.
Yeah.
If he's if it's still technically his birthday, I don't know if he's
on semantics. It's the sentiment that counts. Happy birthday.
All right.
Nate's doing good in the comments. He's asking how we are, and of course, we're looking very forward to talking about the episode. Mucho thanks.
I'm still kind of recovering from my trip, but I've got I've got literally a 4-pack of Starbucks double shots in front of me, Dragon. So rest assured that should be enough to get us through this.
It better. Okay.
What do I do with the things I do for my body? The things I do for this podcast to my body.
Yep.
Oh boy. All right.
Well, it could be worse. It could be you could be going to Ace Chemicals.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's just dive right into it.
All right. Any credits or anything you want to bring up, or should we just dive right into the things?
Let's just get right into it, man. Let's just do it.
All right.
This is a biggie, folks. Okay. So we have this beautifully mad setup where we have just a great, insane opening that, again, gets kind of the blanks filled in a little bit later on in a really great way, where we have this beautifully mad setup of these 4 men running from a film set, and followed by these very 89-esque, Batman 89-esque fireworks that are going off. And basically, as these guys are running away, these fireworks are launched and they're dispelling this deadly green chemical gas, which is killing them. Set the classical music, and it's wonderfully crazy.
And then, of course, wait, do we see the Z's now or later?
Well, I mean, we see him here, but you kind of. I was going to address him later, but yeah, we see the Z's on him as they're running out.
Well, I'm just addressing it now because as I saw the Z's, I was like, all right, I don't this is a good cold open because there's a little bit of ambiguity here. It's like I know that it's somehow related to the mark of Zorro. I'm just not sure how.
All right, so of course there's a cold open too. It was a pretty solid cold open. Like, what the heck is going on here? One of those cold opens.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the emotional heft of something like Dead Freight, but you know what? We can't compare everything to Dead Freight, Dragon.
But it is kind of a clue to a mystery, though. It's kind of like, okay,
It is. It is.
see.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Dead Freight without the emotional heft.
And suffice it to say, it does feel very Arkham City, I mean, there's a lot of. I could instantly go to the Scott Snyder comparison because there's a lot of it in this episode. But there's a little bit of like the Arkham stuff where you see the Joker getting things ready, getting things prepared, and and this is kind of what that kind of the opening of this is. It's kind of teeing up what he's getting ready to do.
Yeah, you know what? This whole episode kind of reminds me of Arkham City in a way, and we'll get into that as we go on. It's got kind of a video game like structure to it, and I say that in kind of a fun way.
Very appropriately in the Arkham games, Ace Chemicals is kind of an Easter egg in those games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quick, we got some stuff in the comments here. Nate, personally, this is my favorite episode. Jeremiah is one of my, if not my favorite characters in Gotham right now. I'm very glad they decided to use fireworks for this. It's a nice touch for hardcore Joker fans like myself, and yeah, Joker likes to be theatrical. It's what he likes to do, especially going big with the fireworks. So absolutely,
yeah. And I gotta say, Dragon, like this whole bit with Jeremiah and Cameron Monaghan playing multiple characters and everything. I was skeptical about how it was going to go down this season, but his performance, what can I say? His performance kind of speaks for itself right now.
Absolutely. All right, so we're back from the cold open. We have Jim checking in with the government because last episode we had a major revelation with we found out that Walker, she's in cahoots with Eduardo, who's kind of gone bad, and basically set up the whole Proto-Bane story with Eduardo. So the point is, like, now the government's in the know about what's going on, the corruption within the system, and how she's working against them, trying to kind of conquer Gotham, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Orchestrated the whole destruction of Haven, the whole shebang. Like, she's trying to make it so Gotham does not get the support that it needs, and kind of keeps Gotham in the no man's land war zone that it is currently. So, checking back in from that, Jim's on the radio with the actual government. Post all this Walker brouhaha, and they're on Jim's side. Just to kind of abbreviate a little bit here, they're on the guy on the other end of the radio. He seems to be on Jim's side, and he's ready to send relief immediately, so long as things remain stable and quiet in Gotham. So long as it's not like another apocalyptic thing or something really majorly doesn't go wrong.
No funny business, in other words.
In other words, yes, no funny business. Yes, perfect word choice. So, of course, like, yeah,
I can just imagine, like, this Roger Ebert type critic character in the government just wagging his finger, like, now, Gordon, you don't get the help if you don't stay, if you guys don't behave yourselves.
Yep.
I only pull out the Roger Ebert thing because Roger Ebert used to have a segment on his show called The Wagging Finger of Shame.
Which I'm sure Spielberg kind of took a liking to.
Anyways, I didn't mean to derail this. Let's keep going on. Dragon coffee does good things to me.
Right, so the nightmare's about to end is the main point of that scene. So then Bullock's asking, we have kind of a walk and talk scene at the GCPD with that great proscenium stage setting we always have at the GCPD. We have Bullock and Gordon talking. Bullock's asking, like, is it for real? Like, is the nightmare finally over? What's like? Do you think it's true? And Jim says, again, the classic Jim Gordon. Now he's definitely been shafted by the government, especially after all this Walker stuff. It's like, I'll believe it when it happens. All right, I didn't believe in anything until it happens. So we learned that 5 days have gone by. So right off the bat, I'll admit this: I predicted something different for this episode. I'm not holding it against the episode, but I mean, Jeremiah has this really great line at the end of the last episode where he says, "Today's the big day," and I mean, he is building towards a big day, but by the same token, it's like, well, it made me think of, like, we're literally like in the wee hours of the morning for a 24-hour sort of thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, Dragon, I think the timeline in general could have been a little bit more clear this episode.
Yeah, but the point is, a couple days have passed and Alfred's still gone missing, which is kind of frazzled Bruce, and that's also a death of the family return, where again Alfred getting kidnapped for a couple days is really weighs on Bruce, and so it's
a lot of Scott Snyder stuff this episode as well, if you ask me.
And the best of his Joker stuff, which you've read half of, and believe me, Tiki, they definitely have some nods to the other thrilling sequel to Death of the Family, which is Endgame, which again, hopefully before Avengers Endgame we can talk about.
Right.
All right, so let's see. So 5 days have passed, and again, like they were kind of adding days to the big, 391 day thing. So it's kind of what they're doing there. Alfred's still missing, and Bruce has been pulling doubles to kind of help out search parties, look for Alfred, and the whole shebang. And we had this really great line by Bullock saying, "Kid's dead on his feet," just saying, he's risking burning himself out. Jim, you got to intervene, talk to the kid. Then we have this really nice scene here, and again, this takes me back to like a rare scene you would see, where sometimes, usually, the usual Batman Gordon dynamic is that Batman's in control, and he's helping Jim Gordon out. That's usually how the dynamic is. But you have those rare exceptions, oddly enough, during the introduction of the venom chemical that Bane uses, to the venom drug. Batman he became addicted to the venom drug in the comics when it was introduced, and when that happened, he was kind of making pleasantries with Gordon. Gordon says, "Well, hey, what's wrong? We keep pleasantries out of this, man. What's wrong with you?" So it's kind of like these moments where kind of Jim's kind of calling Bruce out a little bit here, where he's saying, "Look, I'm not taking you off anything here, but you need your rest. I'm not cutting you out. I need you sharp, though, not a liability," which is kind of really, kind of.
Well, I believe the line is, "We need you as the asset you are, not a liability."
Yes, which is a great line. Again, that of course speaks to again that Batman Gordon dynamic of I need you as a help, not a hindrance. It's great. All right, so let's see. So then he's reassuring Bruce that Alfred Pennyworth can take care of himself. So don't worry, like he'll take care. And then Jim and Bullock have this moment. Jim and Bullock have this moment where he says, "Oh, the kid's tough. I know." It's a really nice, it's a sweet little bit there where Bullock's kind of calling it, "Man, that kid, whatever is thrown at this kid, he keeps kind of enduring it." And then Jim's kind of echoing, "Yeah, I know." It's a little mutual respect bit. I don't know. I thought it was kind of nice.
Yeah, and Bullock doesn't get much this episode, but he's got some sweet stuff in the beginning, so I appreciated that.
Yeah. Okay, so then Harper's to kind of abbreviate things a smidge here.
It's nice to see that Harper's still around and kicking, by the way. I'd say, definitively the real Montoya on this show is Harper.
Oh, real quick, because it occurred to me when I was taking notes for this episode, because Harper appeared again. It occurred to me that in the history of Gotham, I never was able to make this connection, and I wanted to get it in before we end the series, before the show ends. So it's a fun little. It's a very vague. I would love it if this were the case. They had to get this name from somewhere. I mean, Harper's a little out of left field, and of course, to us, she's always going to be real Montoya, and for all intents and purposes, she is real Montoya. But the name Harper. Remember in Court of Owls and some of the early Scott Snyder Batman stuff, we had Harper Row, the original character he created.
That's true. That's true.
Again, very different from that character, but still name. Also, a few things from Nate here. I just wanted to read off in reference to Cameron Monaghan on the whole, because you were bringing it up earlier. Cameron is one of the best Jokers we've ever seen. I even dare say better than a good chunk of the actors of the past. I mean Monaghan he's definitely played a number of Jokers. That's the thing. You got a number of proto Jokers. That's the thing. He's played him really well.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him above Ledger, but I'd maybe put him second below Ledger, honestly, if I were to rank him in my head right now.
I gotta tell you, for range alone, I'll put him over Romero.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. And I frankly, this is going to open a can.
He curb stomps Leto, so there's no problem there.
Oh, Leto, no, I'm an idea.
Yes, I mean the real question. This is going to be the interesting thing to see, because again, the only other time we're going to get a legit proto Joker to kind of weigh him by comparison will be Joaquin Phoenix. That's what I really want to see, how he stacks up against Joaquin Phoenix. So I'm hoping that's going to be kind of a really kind of that'll be interesting to see.
Worms here, Dragon Wolf, comparing the Jokers, but I've always found Jack Nicholson's Joker a little overrated, just because he's kind of just playing crazy Jack Nicholson again.
You're not wrong, and that's the thing. So Nicholson, he is pretty much playing himself. Of course, I think goes without saying, Mark Hamill is the definitive Joker. But if you want to look at kind of live action, of course, it's Heath Ledger, no question. But I mean, yes, Jack Nicholson, he just basically they always lucked out with Jack Nicholson. Nicholson just happened to be a lot like the Joker. They just kind of lucked out on that one. It's not much of a stretch. Just put him in makeup.
He's not an idea. He's just Nicholson.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, and we have another thing here about Bruce, because we just talked about Bruce scene here. So Bruce's determination is freaking awesome, which I agree, and how it turns to anger throughout the episode is just a testament of how much passion David puts into this character, which I couldn't agree any more. Nate. Zeus knows this character again. One of the quite possibly, if you want to just go in the grand scheme and include Bruce Wayne's, I mean, it could go shoulder to shoulder with Christian Bale in terms of like the best representation of a Bruce Wayne we've seen on film. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you there.
That's the thing. I mean, Mizzou's knows that character. I mean, that kid just feels like Batman. Even when he was even from the very beginning, that kid felt like Batman in a way that, again, all he needs is a mask, and hopefully this season will get it to him.
Right.
Yes. Oh, and Winter Ives agrees. Welcome, Winter Ives. Okay, the party. We're all here. Good. Okay, continuing forth. Let's see. Oh yeah, Harper. Right, Harper. Okay, so Harper found something weird, which kind of calls them down to the crime scene where our four dead mustache. And I love this. We find 4 dead men with mustaches and Z's slashed across their chest, and I love that we have. This has to be a meta reference of some kind, at least for my own sanity. I like to think it's a meta.
Oh
reference.
God, to the mustaches with Gordon.
Gordon removes the mustaches, and he's the one who says,
"Oh man,
I
didn't think about that, Dragon, but that is a good pull."
Of all the characters that go down there, he peels the mustache off and he says, "It's a fake." 2 things, okay? 2 things. One, it's a little call out. It's a little tease that one of these days, Gordon with the mustache, we're getting close. We're getting close. One's got to earn the bad ears. The other one's got to earn the stash, man. But the other thing, though, might be like a meta thing of like saying, yeah, that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid of a fake-looking mustache. That's why we haven't done it yet. That's why we're saving it. Like the Smallville no tights, no flights thing. We're waiting till the end. You will believe a man can grow a mustache.
You know what? Just get Ben McKenzie under one of those Henry Cavill contracts, Dragon. That's all you need to do.
Oh, if only. But then, of course, then what happened is then we have a whole bunch of movies where Ben McKenzie looks exactly like Jim Gordon, but he wouldn't be in a Batman-related thing. Anyway, so the point is, like, they find these 4 men with these fake mustaches, kind of Z's slashed into their chest, and they basically been killed by chemical agents because they have foam around the mouth and everything. So in essence, they're doubting. Bullock raises a very interesting question. You and I have been speculating about this season. Could it be Z for Zaz? And carved into the flesh. It's a kind of a Zaz thing. However, a little too theatrical, Jim points out. A little too theatrical, and Zaz isn't quite handy with chemicals. And also, Zaz isn't around because he's in season 2 of Barry right now.
Very
they
true.
They don't say that part, but he's got a big role in Barry season 2 as well, and I'm very excited for it.
When is Barry season 2 coming around?
End of March.
Okay, I promise you all have season 1 watched by then, Dragon.
You better. I'm going to shame you until the end of time. I will shame you every video after that season 2 premiere if you don't watch those 2 episodes. Anyway, getting back on point here. So the point is they're wondering if it's Zaz, which again I still would love it if they kind of did the whole Zaz kind of carving thing, reveal it that carving all the victims, like basically like reveal Zaz like shirtless and crazy at the end of the series, just like kind of a little check in with like where we're gonna be at in the Batman show we'll never see. It'd be cool. Anyway, so the point is there's a ticking clock to all this where they have to solve this crime and stop it before news reaches the mainland, because if news reaches the mainland of, oh boy, there's a psychotic killer killing people.
Hey, I thought I said no funny business.
Yeah. That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anyone, to quote Jerry Seinfeld. So, sorry, very obscure Seinfeld reference. My apologies. So then they find they find a tattoo on one of the guys, and it's the mark of the chessman. Sorry, it's the chessman.
Ooh.
Yeah, really just of no consequence, but let's just for argument's sake. Chessman.
It's Bobby Fischer.
Well, he did really go crazy in real life, so I wouldn't put that past him.
Oh God.
Seriously, I mean, he went off the deep end, man. Anyway,
really, I never knew that, Dragon.
Really, you never knew that? Yeah, he went bonkers crazy.
No, I've never seen the Bobby Fischer biopic or anything.
There's an excellent documentary. You got to watch the documentary on Bobby Fish. I think it's on Bobby Fischer. I think it's on. Last time I checked, it was on YouTube. But I think you might be able to find it.
I'll look into it. Some fodder for the movie memoirs.
Yes. Anyway, so. Sorry. Point being, so they find like a tattoo of of a chess pawn, like a chess piece, which is indicative of the chess man and a gang who operates out of the Narrows, but they're really out of their reach, like they're way out from the Narrows. Like, what's the deal? Like, what does
Hmm.
this Narrows gang have to do with all this? So, and of course, they have a Narrows contact, which I believe we all remember from season 4, and we just luckily kind of showed back up recently. Nice how that all worked out. Okay, anyway. So then, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, here we go. Now the episode gets started for real. Oh boy. Also, Nate had a very good comment here. It's always funny business with Jeremiah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Speaking of said funny business, let's begin where the episode really begins. So Bruce is walking down the dark, and he's in his little outfit too. I love him in this. I love him in this.
Yeah, I love
In
the
this costume.
trench coat and everything. It's very like 1999 Matrix.
Yeah, and he's got like the gauntlets now, kind of built on the coat, and he's got the grappling gun. It's like, oh man, it looks great. I can't get enough of it. So all he needs is a mask, sea mask or otherwise, and it'd be perfect. But anyway, so he's walking down the dark zone. Bruce is walking in the dark zone, and he kind of walks like basically he turns in an alley or something, and then a newspaper flies at his feet, lands at his feet. And Tiki, what is on that newspaper?
The death of Thomas and Martha Wayne, right?
Yes, the Wayne's murdered. It's Thomas and Martha Wayne death, and of course he looks to the side. Basically, it's kind of a trap here where he kind of follows where this thing might have come from. Or he like looks left or something, and then he sees plastered against the wall hundreds of these newspapers, basically directing him where he needs to go. So again, it's like, oh guys, again, this is basically it's a twofold thing. Basically, it gets his attention long enough for the base of the Rube Goldberg kind of trap to be unfurled here. So he looks, he's again, it's a great unsettling image that begins like kind of one of the worst days of Bruce Wayne's life right now.
Right, right.
Where he sees a reminder of his parents out of the blue, of the death of his parents out of the blue, and then he sees a couple that looks and sounds remarkably like Thomas and Martha Wayne, kind of walking from a distance down the subway platform, basically kind of walking, basically leading him to give chase, which is very reminiscent, by the way. We've seen these sorts of scenes in the Arkham games, like the first Arkham game particularly. You have like a sequence where he's following his parents, kind of walking, but also one of the most historic, a very historic scene from Batman the Animated Series, from Dreams in Darkness, the one you've seen. Remember where he has the nightmare with the gun barrel that turns into the tunnel.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
So it kind of reminds me a lot of that. So again, he's following kind of a ghost.
Honestly, Dragon, for about a minute there, it turns into perchance.
Yes, there's definitely there is an
for about a minute or two.
So the point is, all of this is what I was just geeking out so much while I was watching. It's like, oh my god, this is so great, and knowing what they're doing here with the kind of the grand plan from the end. This is the end game stuff right here, like what he's doing with the parents. This is all end games. Like, oh boys, there's a haunting scene from the end game book.
You hear that, Leto? I'm the idea.
So. So Bruce gives chase, and he's following them, and basically he follows them down where Jeremiah's tunnels were being dug. And apparently, it wasn't a tunnel. He wasn't digging like multiple tunnels, but he was digging one tunnel to one location that digs under the river of Gotham, all the way to basically what's outside of the bridge's zone. We're basically doing like a Batman Begins, like Wayne Manor's like right outside of Gotham. It's in the Palestines, like kind of out of town. So basically, Bruce walks down this tunnel, and the thing that leads him further down the tunnel, of course, is one of the most indicative images of the Wayne murder. He finds a pearl.
Dun dun dun.
Finds the single pearl, man, and then he's going down.
Zack Snyder's just like, quick, we need to shoot it in slow motion.
He then hey, don't you knock that pearl scene, man. That was the one excellent part of that movie.
All right.
Anyway, So he goes down a very cave-like tunnel, by the way. That kind of, it's kind of curse you don't watch. Like, yeah, it's kind of cave-like. We haven't seen. Seriously, isn't it trippy? We have not seen the Batcave since like season 2.
Oh God, it reminds me of like how predictable that cliffhanger for season 1 was, and then in retrospect, how pointless it was.
Before.
That is a good observation, Dragon.
Before we check back in with things, we have some really interesting comments here. I want to read out. Let's see. Oh yeah, Nate's question. You think Jeremiah put up all those you think Jeremiah put those newspapers up, or Echo is what Winter Ives is inquiring about? You know what I think? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Jeremiah did himself give it all the old personal touch? Or do you think he just kind of delegated the Echo?
You know what? I'd like to think it was like like the Tom Sawyer,
White picket fence thing.
yeah, the white picket fence thing. It's like, oh, Echo, this will be. Oh, you can go do your thing, but I'm going to have a lot of fun hanging up these newspapers, Echo. But whatever, if you want to go roller skating around with your mallet, be my guest. La di da di da, hanging up the newspapers.
Well,
That's how I like to imagine it went down.
Nate has made the point that he thinks it's Jeremiah because Jeremiah would, he's a master planner.
No, in all seriousness, I do think it's Jeremiah. I'm just being silly.
Me too, and I think of that because again, it's a bit of the I think it's a bit of the Snyder thing where in Death of the Family, Joker meticulously kind of arranged the perfect, kind of orchestrate all of these really horrible experiences for Batman to kind of go up against, and he had the scary thing was like it's the basically Joker had a version of Because I'm Batman, where it's because he's the Joker, he's going to do these horrific things. Where again, like in Death of the Family, there's the whole like he mentions sleeping under Gordon's bed, and it's like he might be lying, but if he's not, it's just horrifying all the same. Like, does he sleep under Jim Gordon's bed?
Just the idea that he's like thinking about it and thinking about that idea in terms of how can I use it to get into Gordon's head one way or another is terrifying in its own right, even if it's not true.
And the idea is he's done all of these elaborate things, but again, like it'd be impossible. And of course, like a big second point of that book is like there's a really impossible thing. Like, couldn't the Joker possibly have like survived, kind of finding his way into the Batcave if he dives into like God knows how many he has to go in the bat boat to kind of go into the water entrance. Like, no man could hold his breath that long to go under that deep on a high speed boat. But of course, the Joker, could he? That's kind of like, could a man do all of these things? Kind of like, can Batman do all of these things and like kind of know all of these things? Of course, because he's Batman, because he's Joker. It's kind of the logic there. So I'm fully it's Jeremiah. Okay, let's see. I believe we checked back in with Bruce in a smidge here. Let's see. So he's okay. Let's talk Lee. You lead us to the Lee stuff.
Okay, Dragon. It's time to talk about the stuff that we really care about. Barbara's baby drama. Yep. Who's gonna be Barbara's gynecologist, Dragon? Who's it gonna be?
Well, last I checked, there's one good doctor in Gotham. So, I
care about this so much more than the Ace Chemicals plotline.
I'll remind you, the last doctor we had in Gotham did go, went crazy. Like, she loves me.
Oh God.
So I think she only has one choice. No, in all seriousness, they want to go with like the best doctor, one that she trusts, which, for better or worse, is Leslie Tompkins. So
I just like how the show kind of acknowledges how crazy this relationship is.
It does, and first and foremost, I love Lee being back in the South because it makes sense. They need a medic. They have like kind of the med bay, helping at the GCPD. So it might as well be Leslie Tompkins, if anyone. She's back in the South. She's helping people. It's what she does.
You tried to kill me, Barbara, twice.
I love that. This is what kills me about this, and I love it. Where Barbara's response is, "Oh, that was years ago." We're essentially saying, "Yeah, that was seasons ago. That was like season 1 and 2."
Exactly. They might as well say that was like season 3. Lee, come on.
Basically, no, that's the thing. It's literally season 1 at the end of season 1, and like the halfway point of season 2.
And then season 2, right.
So it's literally like, well, yeah, it's been like a number of years since I've tried to though. I didn't try to kill you in season 3 and 4. You didn't even know where I was for most of season 4. Well, does it matter?
Oh God.
Okay. Anyway, in all seriousness, so Barbara's going to a competent doctor that she trusts with Lee, and Lee obviously has her misgivings about this, and I don't blame her. I gotta be honest, but essentially, she's saying the kid's innocent. My little nugget. I love. She gave it like this ridiculous little nickname. I'm here for my little nugget. She's arguing for the innocence of the baby, hasn't done anything, and basically Barbara's
got any sort of nefarious scheme in her like upper sleeve, or do you think it's literally just for the kid? Because I don't know. I think she's going out of her way. Here's
the thing. I think. I've heard some theories. I don't believe some people think she's faking the pregnancy, which again basically feeds into
I don't believe that.
Basically, it's people kind of pulling on the thread of like, well, in a day, two tops, how does she know that she's pregnant?
Have
Because
you
it's kind of people.
Batman and Robin?
Look, I'm not disputing it that it's crazy. All right, I'm just saying that's where people are getting that idea from. All right, that's where they're getting it. I think she's pregnant. Again, the question of it's going to be very telling. Which if she has a boy, then of course it's saying she's going to be crazy. It's going to be because of the fact she's crazy. If it's a girl, chances are it's going to be kind of more like Jim Gordon with Barbara Gordon, the whole Batgirl. But anyway, the point being, I think she's trying to go straight and narrow because of what happens to her later in the episode. I think she's she's not feeling the same urges she used to feel when she would just kind of be like kind of a pull the trigger then ask questions later sort of person. I think she's making a genuine attempt here. I think it's sort of she's trying to earn Jim's trust even though she doesn't need it.
Fair enough.
That's at least in a roundabout way. I think that's what she's doing. So I think she's basically going about things the wrong way, but I think she's just being very getting very offensive to to Lee there, saying like, "Come on, you can trust me, right?" Without knowing how this is going to play it straight. Like, please help me. She's not saying please. It's like, come on, be my OB. What do you say? Be a ton of laughs. We can chat about Jim. What do you say?
But only if Jim doesn't know about it. Insert Jim.
Yes. So Jim enters. Of course, like Jim, of all the times you could have shown up.
Come on, Jim. Bad timing. Come on.
The nightmare situation, especially considering that he and Lee almost had a child, and that just ended in utter tragedy.
Exactly. Oh.
Just this whole situation, like this is not like Jim is just he's the odd man out in this situation. It's like, oh, Jim, what have you done? So anyway, Jim walks in at the wrong time, and basically Lee agrees to be Babs's doctor so long as she includes the quote unquote father, as she kind of has like a positive with the father. She's like, I just love how uncomfortable she is with it. Like, really? She tried to kill me, and you're having a baby with her? Really? Anyways, the point is, we're gonna get to. Lee was a little borderline the first time I watched the episode. I was a little on the fence about Lee. I think the second time I was a little bit more on her side. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's see. So how's the little conversation between lovers go, Tiki?
Oh God, hold on. One sec.
Well, a few comments here. Nate says, "Yeah, Barbara, my favorite, not."
So basically, we're just reiterating, like, yeah, I'm going to leave because she's the best, and also, basically, well, your involvement kind of began and end when you took off and then put back on your pants. It's like I really don't want you to have anything to do with this baby. And Jim is just like, you do know that I don't really trust you with our child, right?
Then she asked the question, what, don't you think I'm fit to be a mother? And of course Jim has the, what do you think? Which is very telling, and again, Tiki, God help me, I feel a little bit of sympathy. I feel sympathy for Barbara there a little bit, It's
Barbara might not be our favorite either, but I gotta give the writers and Aaron Richards credit for, like salvaging a total train wreck of a character from season 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just in case, Nate, again, just in case Nate hasn't been following kind of our Barbara, Tiki, recap the Barbara exploits real quick. Give him
like season 1, it was literally like, it got to a point where I consider Barbara to be like the Tommy Wiseau of this series, where it was like every time she appeared on screen, I knew it would be awful, but I knew I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was so bad. But then slowly throughout the seasons, Dragon, she kind of morphed on us, and season 2, she had some bad moments, like the aforementioned attempt to kill Lee. But I'd say that was the peak of her badness. And then after that, I feel like you and I both kind of appreciate the fact that the writers sort of naturally made her into this crazy sort of, crime lord type character.
Absolutely. She kind of found her footing.
Realized Fish Mooney. Yeah,
kind of and essentially also with the hair, with the haircut too. I think kind of visually, she's kind of stepped into that mold officially by the end of things here. Now she's just kind of more put together as kind of the femme fatale club owner. That again is is crazy. But again, if they kind of pull off this pregnancy thing with like a James Jr., then it would kind of pay off. Well, we were kind of speculating way early on where you were kind of joking about like, oh, what if she had a baby too? Then it would make sense. And of course, well, now they're kind of doing that. So. Yep, and also Nate brings up an excellent point here. Let's see. Sorry, real quick. It was that Nate brought up the point. Like, I wonder if she was actually considering going to Hugo Strange, who again would be the other Doctor in Gotham, technically. So
that's true. That's true.
But again, I think Winter Ives agrees that would be a mess, and yes, it would be a mess.
Yeah, Barbara, I simply cannot wait to bring your child into this world. It'll be so delightful.
It probably again. Hugo Strange loves them.
And I absolutely ensure you, Barbara, that your baby will not come prepackaged with a brain-controlling microchip.
Exactly.
No, my fingers are not crossed behind my back.
It would be ill-advised, to say the least. And but again, in all seriousness, that's what I'm talking here. It's that it's again, I think our feelings are hurt here, and again, this begins her arc of like, I have changed, and that's why that's why this baby's being. Honestly, it's kind of weird that the baby. Again, we don't know quite. Again, the whole if it's going to go the Barbara Gordon route, the whole James Jr. route, but regardless, it's the fact that this baby kind of represents a bit of hope in Gotham in a way. Technically, it's kind of a twist on the year one idea, where in year one. Gordon was lamenting, the birth of James Jr. in the first place, where he was, how can I bring a baby into this world, into a city without hope? That was the genesis of James Jr. in year one, before Snyder did the whole crazy James Jr. years later thing. But again, it's kind of an interesting idea. But again, this is kind of like a hope for redemption for Barbara, possibly, and of course, depending how this thing comes. And again, we don't know if the baby's going to be crazy from its birth. So regardless, again, we don't know these things. We're speculating these things. But regardless, it's kind of the idea that this is kind of giving her hope for redemption, kind of hope for maybe with a child, I could kind of redeem some of the bad stuff I've done, and just kind of it's kind of like the old thing of motherhood kind of redeems you. It gives you like a redemptive thing. It doesn't make you perfect. It doesn't like take away all the bad stuff you did, but it does kind of like you have the maternal instinct. You have like something worth protecting, worth kind of setting a good example for. So that's kind of what Barbara's dealing with. And again, I think she's getting a little hurt by the fact that Jim's just saying, no, you can't change. It's impossible to change. And this whole episode is kind of about people changing. So it's kind of interesting.
Sure.
All relative, folks. That's what I'm getting at. It's all relative. All right. So getting ready for some big stuff here, Tiki. All right, so Bruce emerges from the tunnel, and of course the tunnel leads to Wayne Manor, which is very clever, and again, kind of a good payoff of all that stuff. Again, there is an exit to getting out of Gotham. So basically, if people knew about this tunnel, they could all just like go through this tunnel, get to the end, get to Wayne Manor, and just leave Wayne Manor. Then they'd be free of no man's land if they all knew about this. A little plot thing that's going to come back later. Just want to set that up here. All right, so then we enter Bruce Wayne's living hell, or his perchance the dream moment. Basically, for a moment, it's a perchance the dream, but again, on the whole, this is like the beginning of Bruce Wayne's living hell. His parents are back, and he's like, Thomas and Martha Wayne are sitting there all happy-go-lucky, and they're greeting him like, oh, look who decided to join us. I love the
tiny wine glasses, Dragon. I don't know why. I just love that detail.
We're about to talk about those in a millisecond in like kind of a visual detail, but let me put it to you this way. I'm pretty sure I know what's in those tiny glasses. That's Sherry. Okay. Because all the time on Frasier, in the show Frasier, Tiki, Frasier Crane's a drink of choice. It's not Cheers where they don't have doesn't just go for the standard beer, as it were, like some of the fancier drinks. But his fancy drink of choice that he and Niles would share constantly. The minute they walk in the doors, it's like asking for the drink, and it's in this little glass, identical to the ones that they have.
Really,
it's sherry. It's sherry. Like cooking sherry, essentially. That's what it is. That's what they would drink. It's real kind of light frou-frou fancy drink, which I'm trying to remember. I think it's type of grapefruit. I think that's what's in the drink. It's like some sort of it's like a white.
Oh dear, it's a grapefruit.
Not a grapefruit, but you know what I mean. It's like a fancy white grape.
I was gonna say a grapefruit is much more high class than an orange.
But I mean, it's like some sort of fancy version of just kind of your average fruit. So it's kind of like, I guess in a vineyard you'd have like kind of a specialty grape, and that's what's used in. I think I'm not the expert on, but it's like some sherry anyway. Okay, point being, they're all just kind of drinking these tiny glasses, and they're all just like welcoming Bruce. And then we have kind of the millisecond of, again, in a good way, we have kind of a brief homage to Perchance Dreamers. Bruce is taken aback by, like, oh my god, it's them. Like, who are you?
Dragon, to me, Alfred is the one that really cements the perchance to dream thing, where he's just like, you know, all happy-go-lucky and like, oh, isn't it, if it isn't Master Bruce, what's wrong, Master Bruce? We have to greet our guest. You know, it's like something is very, very wrong with Alfred.
Yes, and of course the answer is, we're your parents, Bruce. And of course, Alfred in full butler mode. He's guys, we got to get you spruced up. We have a guest. And Tiki, let's reveal that guest, shall we?
Okay, hold on one sec. I just hope that the zooming.
We're probably gonna have to kind of alter. You have to enlarge it a little.
Yeah, let's zoom in on it a little bit, and there we go.
Yes, we have. Essentially, this is what's waiting for him here. We reveal, Jeremiah as the guest, with the little sherry glass too. With the little sherry glass, he's waiting, and of course, he has the perfect line: "Welcome home, Bruce."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me explain the image here. So yes, so this is Nate Productions, of course, birthday boy himself in the comments here. Nate Productions, he's kind of done us a fun service, a fun new thing we're doing for basically Gotham from this point till the end of the series. Again, assuming everything goes right, where Nate Productions is a very gifted artist, has a lot of really kind of a unique style and does some really neat things, especially in relation to designs on the Joker and kind of, in this case, other forms of the Joker, which would be Gotham's take on the Joker, or proto-Joker, if you will. So I wanted to kind of show it here. So again, this is Nate Productions, otherwise Nathan VA, if you want to find him on YouTube, I guess. And this is artwork. And you can let's decipher the style for a mere moment here, just for a moment.
I'm loving the lighting on it.
Yes, got really good lighting. It kind of reflects the episode. Again, he's got the little glass down pat, and I was kind of worried about this. Like, yep, he got the little glass. And again, like Nate has a style where he's kind of, in some ways, I'd imagine he's homaging kind of the animated series or kind of the streamlined design. You know me, I love that. I love a streamlined design look because of that. So I like that he's simplified things, like basically noses and kind of the mouth shapes are usually kind of the thing that gets simplified in his work. And I gotta tell you, real quick, to kind of analyze Nate's style for a moment here. I think Nate's gotten better over time, and I think the more he kind of dedicates to kind of the backgrounds and kind of like basically kind of doing the. I think his posing's got tremendously better over time. I think this is like one of the great things that he's done here. We have another piece of Nate's work that we're going to get to momentarily. I think it's really going to knock everybody's socks off. But just again, this shows you in kind of this is kind of Nate in his usual style right now. This is kind of what you're seeing here. And the idea, basically the prompt for his going forward, I've asked Nate to kind of take a sampling of a line, a moment that he has seen in the episode, really jumped out to him, and kind of get his rendering of like a scene or a moment from whichever episode, basically from 7 to 12 of the ones that are coming up. So basically that's where it might be like a surprise every episode, folks. Like, oh boy, I wonder what moment they kind of spoke to Nate, and then we're going to show it. And it'll look like something along these lines.
Dragon, I feel like this deserves its own kind of subtitle in the podcast, but I'm trying to figure it out. Like
it does.
Like Nate's art alley or something like that.
I want to call it like Nate Rouge Nate, but that doesn't make any sense. But no, we gotta it's like that kind of
artistic interpretations.
Maybe we're getting there, like a rendering from Nate Productions or something. We'll see. We'll workshop. We'll see if we got anything by the end. You keep thinking of in the background. All right. Anyway, any suggestions in the comments too? We'll take those. All right. Well, real quick, we have some when Barbara shows up again, we'll talk about that Barbara stuff. Anyway, let's keep pressing forward here. So again, big stuff. So again, Jeremiah, he's in the room. This is what I'm talking about. The whole this is like kind of the death of the family, living nightmare of it all with Bruce Wayne here. It's like, oh god, my parents are back. It was just really creepy and offsetting because they died. And again, I had the reminder that they died with all those newspaper clippings. And Alfred's out of his gourd right now. He's kind of going to over the top butler mode. So something's off here. Something's not right. And again, it takes him back to Death of the Family, where Alfred kind of was messed with in a really scary way. And basically he was kind of Jokerized, and Alfred was just he was very scary and he was very terrifying. And we're kind of doing a little bit of that here, but it's a much more kind of a more palatable version of it. Where he's just over. It's kind of more funny. It's just kind of the overzealous butler. It's just kind kind of taking a blind eye to it.
So Jeremiah reveals like all these canisters full of explosives. And then Alfred's just like, "Oh, Mr. Jeremiah, how kind of you. A cake. Is it Italian meringue?"
We have this wonderful delivery by Cameron Monaghan. It takes a moment. It says, "Sure, yes."
Dragon, I just want to let you know I was pretty close to like changing up the intro, doing a little improv, and saying "Greetings, fellow Italian meringues."
Yep.
Would you have been mad at me?
I wouldn't have been over the moon, but I would, again, Italian meringue, it's funny.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, point being, also they cover the whole again, kind of setting the stage for what their dynamic's going to be for years to come. Where again, the reveals like again, he thought like everybody thought Selena killed him when she stabbed him a whole bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And and he says like, "You're alive," and he says, "Do you really think Selena could kill me that easily? Kill me that easily?" Of course, like the whole it's really hard to kill the Joker. Joker's just going to keep coming back, which again is also set up for some later stuff later in the episode. So it's all relative.
Of course.
Let's see. Okay, so he comes bearing gifts, which of course are the gasoline bombs. Basically, it's like Bruce can't stop this, so he has to basically play ball, or else Wayne Manor with all of them in it blows up, including himself. It just shows you how crazy Jeremiah is. Going to blow himself up to prove his point here, which again, is class Joker 101.
Mm.
So Bruce is absolutely helpless here. And again, so right now we then get to kind of this. We basically get to this big death again. The base of the kind of this dinner party that's about to unfold. Kind of a late lunch, kind of an early dinner, I guess. But we have kind of a dinner party.
I'm sorry, Dragon. Really quick, just to check. Do you want me to just keep it on this image for the time being?
Yeah, until we get to the next thing. Yeah, keep it up.
Until we get to the next thing. Okay, cool. Just
then we'll circle back once we get through this. Basically, they'll stay up as long as the scenes are going on. So
gotcha.
We're almost there. We're almost to the switch. I'll let you know. All right, so let's see. So the point is, what I'm getting at is that death of the family. It's the idea of Joker trying to help Batman. Again, this whole like he's trying to, in this case, Jeremiah, he's trying to help Bruce kind of face his destiny and kind of like re-experience. And mainly, he's really trying to help himself. He's trying to kind of tie the string between the two of them. He's trying to like say, I want to be part of your life. I want to be part of this big day that defined you. And he's trying to help Bruce. Very much like Joker's trying to help Batman kind of be the loner, basically get back to the golden years of Batman, way before Robin was introduced. Back when it was just Batman compared to his villains. Kind of like, again, basically the ultimate Batman fanboy was the idea.
Mm.
And again, also throwing a dinner party identical to the big horrifying climax of Death of the Family, where he does all of this stuff to throw the dinner party from hell for Batman. So one is explained before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before they sit down to dinner, we kind of have some explanations like, how the heck did he bring the Waynes back? And this gets into some endgame stuff.
You know what? I at first I thought it was like a hallucination of some kind.
But here's the interesting thing. Okay, so what he says in the episode is that he found a couple with similar bone structure, and this is creepy. Yeah, he goes by Martha Wayne, and he just kind of takes a beat. He says, "Build." He's just kind of eyeballing Bruce Wayne's mom, and it's creepy. And then basically gave them some plastic surgery, and he got the Mad Hatter to hypnotize them so they would follow the commands. And of course, his great line, I'm afraid there's no room for improvisation in our script today. Mm-hmm. Today, today's too important. Today is very important. No room for improv. So this is kind of an amalgam of, Death of the Family, of course, involved a lot of facial reconstruction. I'll say that much about it. So there's definitely a bit of that there with the whole plastic surgery angle. Of course, we've set up like things like Hush and everything throughout Gotham. We never really did anything substantial with it, but again, he's a kid, so you can't really do all
there, man. It's there. It's in the background. It could come up at any point.
It is, and again, it's like it's Tommy Ellis. Just like you wouldn't want to like kind of switch the face at this point anyway. So it all worked out, is what I'm getting at. Anyway,
mm-hmm.
And of course, the big thing is the whole recreation of the Wayne murder is a big thing that Joker kind of puts Bruce Wayne through in Endgames. That's basically, again, as I told you, just in case you see like a little blindside of me just mentioning Endgame at every section. I've always loved Snyder's description of it, where it's. Death of the Family is Joker in love with Batman. Endgame is the revenge story after Batman spurns that love. It's Joker hating Batman and kind of cutting through all of it. Like, you know what? No more like you and I are destined to do this forever. I'm going to kill you and make you suffer in the most brutal, heartbreaking ways possible. And you're going to be helpless to stop me. I've been taking it easy on you all these years. You're going to see me coming at you full force within a matter of days.
Damn.
That's endgame for you.
Good sell, Dragon. That's a good sell. I know I've known you've given me that exact sell before, but you know, I definitely intend to check it out before the season's done. Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. So basically, again, he's explaining how we kind of did the old switcheroo with the couple there, and he's telling him why he's doing all this. Like, I'm giving you the chance to experience it all over again, and Bruce is asking why. Isn't it obvious? This was the most important day of your life, and I didn't get to be a part of it. We need. All right, sirs. You know, I didn't get to be a part of it. You know, we need to fix that. We need to rectify that. I'm sorry, I'm just blanking on the word right now. I didn't get to be a part of it. We need to rectify that. Alfred, it's time for dinner. Of course, Mr. Jeremiah. Really, I love Sean Pertwee. I love it when. Here's the thing: Sean Pertwee's been very much kind of the Earth One tough guy, Alfred, and that's been all fine and dandy, and that's great. And I'm not saying we've never had soft Mr. Butler like Tens. He's been kind of the cool Butler. I love him, just kind of the prim and proper Butler, just the uber subservient Butler. It's quite hilarious to see in Sean Pertwee, especially in this season, the No Man's Land season, which is like all the rules are out the window. You just have him go back to be kind of the prim and proper Butler. Like, by the way, Mr. Jeremiah.
Let me get you your Italian meringue.
Exactly. I think Nate's on to something here with he just where Jeremiah just wanted to, he just wants to be part of Bruce's life. And again, that's the sick and twisted thing there, where again he isn't we've set this up in season 4, and we're just continuing it in a tremendous way with this episode. This is kind of the big payoff to all that stuff set up in season 4, where Bruce Wayne did befriend Jeremiah Valeska when he was, well, at least saner, maybe not sane, but saner. And he was genuinely befriending him, and he was replacing the crazy brother, the twin brother that he grew up with, and the two of them were becoming kind of the causal links to each other. And basically, he's just, after driven crazy, he's just seeing things Jerome's way, and now he's just trying to, again, he's just basically trying to show Bruce that they are the same, that they need each other, that they are, like you and I need to be in each other's lives. Why can't you see the bigger picture? You let me in. The only way that I'm going to get through to you is to kind of get through to you on the worst. Essentially, I've got to set myself into the worst, most prolific day of your life, so you will never, ever forget me. That's essentially what he's doing here. I think that's great. Forever and ever. And ever. Let's go on for a while. I'm just reading some comments here. All right. Okay, so let's see. As that's, again, he wants the intrinsic links. That's pretty much Jeremiah's plot for the majority of this. Meanwhile, Penguin and Selina shenanigans.
Yeah, Dragon, I love this couple. It's kind of a shame that they broke it off so quickly.
Yeah, but again, I think they're going to be reuniting a little bit later on. You never know.
We'll see.
Anyways, this is hilarious.
What's going on? Like, Penguin's, like, watching for what? Like, rescue planes?
Well, he's a rescue boat. Basically he's sending men in boats to see if they can get through the waters of Gotham, and then we learn. Again, Now we see, like, again, it raises the excellent question. Again, I love this. I love it's kind of addressed here because I can't remember. I assume they had to have a line of this. They had to at least acknowledge this somewhere in No Man's Land, but No Man's Land is a huge Batman story. It's the reason people hesitate to kind of list it among like the great Batman stories. It's like a year or two of comics. It's not really a story. It's kind of a big Batman comics for about a year or so.
Sure, yeah.
So again, they probably mentioned this, but again, you're probably wondering to yourself, okay, you're stranded on Gotham. All you really need is a boat to get out of Gotham. Well, we see what happens. The water has been mined. There are like landmines in the water, essentially, like mines like from Finding Nemo. Those mines, like they're in the water. Basically, you motor past them, and boom, explosion. So basically, they've been trying to test the waters and see like if they can like kind of mount an escape route through the minefield. I think it's like the third henchman they've sent out there, and it's
basically a no-go.
It's a no-go. So Selina, she suggests using
government Guy is like watching the explosions, and he's just like, "Hey, I thought I told funny business."
Well, sure, but again, that's just like again, that's more of a pittance of like just kind of criminals just trying to get out of the place. Where again, they've set up
I
as far
know,
as
I
they're.
know. I'm just thinking.
I was thinking more of like the government, the guy from the government is just looking on the other end like binoculars, and he's saying, "They sunk my battleship." He's playing battleship with the other guy. Anyway, so Selena has a good idea. Selena says, "Well, wait a minute. Jeremiah's digging that tunnel, and that tunnel's leading somewhere, presumably out of Gotham. Let's use that." Which which kind of is an excellent idea, and again, like proves that this partnership is definitely kind of worth its salt right now. Again, like again, it's a delightful dynamic too. Is Robin Lord Taylor just being like he thinks he has all the ideas, and Selena's just calling him out like, really, you didn't think this far ahead when you were stealing from everybody, really? So basically, we have this hilarious bit where as they're about to leave, the penguin say, "Wait! The one henchman swimming back the shore," and then of course, never mind.
All right, so then we cut back to Tompkins and Gordon.
Yes.
Oh boy, this would have been a steamy Valentine's Day episode, Dragon.
Yeah, and again, that really makes me mad too, because again, you have all this Valentine's Day material, yet we didn't do again. If they only were like a week or so earlier, if only.
Right.
Only they didn't take that stupid week off, at least to be a little closer.
Exactly.
Anyway, so Jim and Lee, they're in the Narrows, looking for the chess man. And of course, basically, they have this bit with Lee where she says, "Well, really, man, season 4 was worth nothing. I mean, they blew the bridges at the end. All the stuff I did, all my stuff, it got wrecked. It didn't get wrecked.
I do like the fact that this season is so self-aware.
Yep, it's like so. Basically, everything I did was for nothing, pretty much. So Jim tries to talk about the whole Barbara situation, and again, Jim's in a really he's not sure. I think if any of us, he's not really sure how to approach the situation. Like he's trying to do the right thing. He's like, what do you say in this situation to Lee, especially after all the crazy stuff you've been in? Like again, she was stabbed and she was brought back with a chip in her brain. She's just been. What do you do? And Lee's response is like, people change, and of course, like that's not the Barbara I know. I mean, not in my experience. Like you don't know Barbara the way I do. Says, I really don't. So again, she's kind of casting some shade, which on the first watch just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But it's like, yeah, it's a complex situation. It's.
No, honestly, I'm on Lee's side with this one, man. Like, again, I reiterate, this woman attempted to kill you guys multiple times.
Well, let me make it clear. I'm not saying I'm on Barbara's side. I mean, I keep going back to the whole season 3 Lee thing, where it's like, Lee, come on, are you really one to talk? But then this episode,
yeah. I mean, look, let's face it. Both of these characters could have been written better at different points in their Gotham careers.
That's the thing. Everybody, it's no. Basically, I'll cut it a break, is what I'm saying. Especially on a rewatch, I was able.
Sure.
I was thinking she was being a little too judgmental, but again, it's like, yeah, and of course the whole pain of they lost the child together is like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense actually. So you can judge the whole choice in Barbara for a one, but again, as a one night stand, it's like how much can she really hold against them? But I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so let's see. So they find a symbol. They find a symbol painted on the wall for the chess man, which basically leads to it's pointed towards the direction of the base. Real quick before we get back to the main thick of the action, let me backtrack a little here. We got a lot of comments.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm loving interactivity, folks. Keep it up. Thanks so much.
All right. So, I just want to make sure I can get all the good stuff here.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah! Oh, this is great. So Nate earlier he made an excellent point about the whole because we're about to check back in with the Jeremiah story of it all here. So this is going to be relevant. So, Jeremiah he's doing a lot of this. And Nate made the realization that I love during this. I realized that all he wanted was a family. It makes you feel for him, which again it kind of calls back for me kind of deep cuts like Christmas with the Joker, where it's a fleeting line where Batman has that one line where he says, "Robin saying that don't." Joker escaped Arkham. Doesn't he have family to go terrorize instead? And Batman has that line, Joker has no family. And again, it's kind of, of course, he stole a family with the awful, lawful family and Christmas with the Joker. So it's a little reminiscent of that in a way here, where, again, it's Joker kind of his way of having a deluded family, which, again, primarily, again, I'm not making the whole like mommy, daddy, lawful of it all here, but primarily the family, and he's trying to have the brotherly relationship that he was cheated out of in life. And again, that kind of got his mother killed and it basically kind of ruined his life in the circus, in the history of Gotham, the whole Valeska family. So that's primarily what Nate's talking about there. And I got to agree, that's kind of an interesting point.
Yeah.
Again, it's basically comments the little brother angle there. All right, I see. Oh yeah, of course. And Winter Eyes also makes the point that he did spread lies about Jerome, though, which is true. We never knew how sane Jeremiah was, and I love that point, by the way. But Nate's he's on Jeremiah's side on that one. But again, they're both kind of stuck on. Oddly enough, they're both stuck on a Valeska. Which Valeska do you believe on that side of things? Is Jerome blowing into their proportion? Is it Jeremiah just being really sly about? You don't know. They're both crazy. At the end of the day, they're both crazy. So I think we all win. All right, let's see. Of course, something about the age-old Batman Joker dynamic, which was great. It'd be hilarious if for some reason, any reason at all, Jerome became the Batman who laughs. Which Tiki, I know you have no idea what that is, but trust me, Batman who laughs is it's I believe a Scott Snyder idea. It was either Scott Snyder or Sean.
Sounds terrifying, Dragon.
It was basically Scott Snyder put it in the Batman Metal story that he did, which Tiki. Let me put it this way: out of all the Scott Snyder stories, that one isn't my favorite, but I respect I respect the heck out of it, and I tell you, it's so crazy I couldn't even describe it to you.
Oh wow!
I mean it. It's
a PC streaming service of mine.
I'm pretty. I mean, again, they're uploading pretty much all the Snyder stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not on there. So,
but again, of course, I should probably do it in chronological order, right?
Yeah, trust me, you got to earn that one. You don't want to just jump into that one blind. First, you don't want to jump into that one blind. Secondly,
because I'm like, it sounds so intriguing. I'm like, oh, that's such an intriguing title.
Basically, it's kind of the Thor Ragnarok for Batman. It's kind of
gotcha.
I guess because it's basically it's like heavy metal.
Wait, that's not the one with Gordon's evil son that you were raving about, was it?
No, that was the very first one. That was even before the whole.
Okay.
That was before Court of Owls. That was the first that's the thing got him on the Bat books.
Oh, gotcha.
I believe that's also in the streaming series. If you ever wanted to check that out. But anyway, so getting back on point. But yes, the Batman, if you turn the Batman who laughs, which that'd be fascinating. I don't think it's in the cards, but that would be a plot twist. Echo Winter Eyes' thoughts there. But the Batman who laughs, and of course, basically the semantics of Batman who laughs, and skirt over a little bit of this. Talking about the whole Bruce Wayne of it all, which again I can't explain it to you just right now. Trust me.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Especially they're currently doing some Batman who laughs stuff in like a recent storyline that Snyder's kind of returned to, which is just tremendous what they're doing now with it. So just trust me, it's good. The Batman who laughs is a horrifying concept that I love it. Okay, let's see. So Winter Ives wishes that they kept Jerome alive for one specific reason. But I'm sorry, I think I'm getting into some private conversation here. So we'll check back in with what's going on in the comments a little bit later. Back to the action. Okay. Back to the action. Okay. All right. So then we have
letting you roll with the comments, Dragon. I'm just very happy to be getting so much interaction. So you can be the head monitor when it comes to that. I don't mind either way.
Yeah, it's riveting conversation too. Any conversation about Batman.
Is it Jeff Goldblum way for stimulating conversation?
No, Tiki. Okay, so back to the now we're at the dinner scene here. We're momentarily going to give you the signal. I'm going to give you the high sign soon.
Goldblum, Ragnarok, it all fits together.
Right.
All right. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so we have a mix of, again, the big death of the family dinner, but this cracked me up, and tell me if you thought about this. Did this scene remind you at all of Batman 89, where we have the scene with the dinner scene with Vicky Vale?
Perhaps a little bit, yeah.
Here's the thing. It's not even the big table, because remember, they have dinner at that huge table, and then they realize, like, well, this is stupid. Why are we having dinner at this giant table? And they go to the more intimate kitchen setting where Alfred is sharing these embarrassing stories about Bruce Wayne. And that's what this scene reminded me of, where, basically they're sitting down. It's kind of a mix of that scene from 89, but with kind of the whole death of the family orchestration of it all, where he's trying to get to know and kind of befriend Batman, in this case, Bruce Wayne. And then we have the 89 quality here, where he's saying, Alfred told me so many tidbits about you. so I could recreate the perfect dinner experience. And Tiki, you're the foodie. What did he make? What favorite food of Bruce Wayne's did Alfred recreate for the occasion?
I believe some sort of like grilled cheese and pickle sandwich, right? Am I right about that?
Oh, not just grilled cheese and pickle, my friend.
Oh God.
It's a grilled cheese sandwich with Branston pickle, with a Branston pickle, and from Thomas Wayne. I love the intimate
Yes,
detail.
yes.
Thomas Wayne sprinkled a bit of aioli on it for flair.
Okay, Dragon, now that you're asking me about my foodie opinions, here's my thing. I'm not a big fan of pickles in sandwiches at all, but I do like to just like on a hot day, just grab a big fat freaking dill pickle, that's been sitting in the fridge or something for a while and just chomp right into that baby, man. I love eating pickles raw. I just don't like them on sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, I only like Jeff Pickles. So
Well, you don't like Tommy pickles?
okay, fine. There are a few pickle exceptions. Fine, but dill pickles and DD pickles, they're no goes.
Well, I think we can all agree, Dragon, that we're all like Amanda Bynes and we don't like dill pickles.
And we don't like dill pickles, and we sure as heck don't like DD pickles. But we're getting far off.
All
Let's get
right, all
back
right.
to the Batman of it all here. No, but seriously, I do love
But
kind of like
oddly enough, I like Dee Dee from Kidding.
right.
Anyways. Oh God.
Anyway, anyway, getting back on point here. So seriously, though, with the sandwich detail, though, I do love that. Again, these like the scary death of the family kind of bits from the writing here, where it's like all these little intimate. He basically he's hypnotized Alfred, and that's how he recreate all like he's haunting. Again, he's just trying to really get into Bruce's head, and he's just torturing Bruce right here, getting into like the meal he probably had before they went out to the theater. Like making them the same sandwich that his father's kind of like sprinkle a little something extra on that Alfred would usually make. I mean, it's the little intimate details like that he's sharing with him. He's trying to psych Bruce. Really trying to get in there. And basically, what he's trying to do is like carve a little niche for himself, just kind of recreate these moments with him. I don't know. It's just real. I thought those all really great things. Then of course he's also kind of doing the classic Joker thing where he's kind of mocking these things too, where he says, "Oh, Bruce," and he starts to kind of laugh about it. He says, "Oh, Bruce, don't give me that look." It's a weird it's a weird favorite food for a 12-year-old to have. He's having a great time bonding with me. You know what? Now is actually probably the perfect time because we're basically in the setting of the scene now. So let's go to the other piece of artwork. Man.
Okay.
This really impressed me. This alone, I think, necessitates why we really need Nate production. Yeah.
Sorry, I accidentally lost the screen share for a second.
All right. Well, let's go back. Let me build it up a little. So, folks, the next image you'll see is really why Nate Productions. I really wish we thought of this earlier. We could have got Nate Productions in on this earlier, so we could have had like more snippets like this because he did this way back during kind of the teaser trailers for Gotham and basically some of the kind of marketing in the media and stuff for Gotham season 5, for the last one. And of course, oddly enough, it's kind of fell hand in hand. It's just kind of a perfect recreation of a kind of the scene we're talking about right now. It's going to look spectacular. But yeah, it's just to get to the scene where basically it'll play better when we get to the actual moment itself. So it's going through basically building to the big shock and awe. Is let's see. I just kind of find my place here. The point is like Jeremiah's having a great time bonding with Bruce. So him, it's like brotherly bonding and just kind of like saying, "Hey, look at the memories we're making together." And of course, this is the image I'm talking about here, folks. I love how Nate recreated the lighting here. And again, this lighting is this is just during the trailer, which again lucked out to being the perfect shot from what eventually was in the episode.
Yeah, I really do think the lighting is kind of like the big strength of this art. Not that everything isn't fantastic, but the lighting is really the thing that stands out for me.
Exactly, and again, seriously, this is really what kind of called out to me. This is what gave me the light bulb moment right here, where it's like, wait a minute. I mean, yeah, Nate did that one piece when he was kind of hyping up, from this basically the big, the awesome line, "Losing your parents that night, Bruce. The wound hasn't healed." And basically, he kind of was inspired by that, and he drew that, and that can remind me. I wonder if he can do that with other moments from Gotham for the last season. And again, until we got to this episode, which had this moment, it didn't really occur to me. So that's on me, I guess. But seriously, top notch.
All right.
Anyway, so again, this is more of like kind of almost like I call it like a rotoscoping look. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm talking like it feels very almost like photorealistic, but again, it makes you think like it's just he's going over the original image, but still looks really top notch and great. It's an excellent recreation, but again through kind of a just kind of again recreated without again it's done on digitally, so it's not exactly you can't not putting tracing paper on it that's invalid or anything. But I don't know, at this point it's neat is what I'm getting at. Sorry.
So just to clarify, you want to switch back, like let's say once we get to spec.
Yeah, no, just keep it up for until we're out of the kitchen.
Oh, just until we're out of the kitchen? Okay, gotcha. All right.
Okay, so keep we gotta. So anyways, talking about the kitchen scene, getting back to it here is all right. So anyway, Jeremiah saying I wanted to get every detail right down to the pearls, and then of course we reveal like Bruce is like pleading like let them go, let it free Alfred, let them go, and of course like no, I have to get every detail right, which brings us to the pearls, and he's like having the pearls put around Martha's neck. And again, again that has a great payoff too with the whole pearls of it all. And again, it's like the pearls is an iconic bit from the death of the parents. It's always kind of neat when I love this. They know like we got to address the pearls and like a little direct bit here.
Right. It's like there it is, folks. There it is.
Yeah, but then we have like the great line here, which is, "What was it like losing your parents that night?" And we have flashes of way back to episode 1. This is probably one of the most full circle episodes we've gotten so far. We flash back all the way to the death of the Waynes from episode 1. I lost my family too. Of course, technically his parents were not actually murdered through like kind of crime, but were really just been murdered through their own craziness. Of Jerome killing his mother, and then the uncle being crazy and like hurting people with soups. And it's like the Valeska family. It's a twisty, rickety tree, to say the least. That family's nuts. Mm-hmm. So he did lose his family, but again through his own hands and like deaths of twins and everything. And then we have the great line like the wound still hasn't healed. I love equating it to a wound, by the way. I don't know why it's just so creepy and icky. It's like it's just the wound hasn't healed properly. You haven't gotten over your trauma, and basically it's almost as if your wound hasn't healed, so I'm going to reopen it and just kind of like wedge myself in there. It's just really nasty stuff. It's like both of us, we both have these wounds of our traumas that haven't healed. That makes us simpatico. You and I, we can, we are basically we're entangled we can be joined by the hip by our wounds and our traumas. And again, he has like the creepy lines like I think about it often. And then this is what I'm sorry. You want to go through it?
What? No. I go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that I love that this is where Mazuz is really kind of kicking into high gear here, where he's saying like, this isn't real. You can see it's affecting him because now he's just calling out like none of this is real.
Somebody check a book.
Again, this is Mazuz's kind of classic Bruce Wayne here. This isn't real. You're trying to manipulate me. This will never be real. Basically saying you're insane if you think you and I are ever going to be brothers the way you think this is going to work. Like you and I being kind of these definitive, interconnected symbols of each other. It's a fantasy. Basically saying he's spitting in the face of destiny of like, whatever my destiny is going to be, it's not going to be connected to you, fella. Pretty much what he's saying. And the response is, but you have been thinking about that night. That's all I need. And he snaps his fingers and snapping. I'm sorry. He's I don't think if he bites the sandwich or he snaps his finger. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, he doesn't snap it. Sorry, that's my stupid note. Sorry, folks, I got it. No, he snaps, not snaps his fingers. Stupid. Sorry, I got Thanos on the brain.
Fingers, and then half of Gotham's characters disappear.
Sorry, folks. Again, it's been a while. I was so jazzed about the episode. I took the notes the night of the episode.
Oh God.
Anyway,
this is why I always do my research right before the podcast, Dragon.
Well, to be fair, I'm just missing a snap versus big portion.
I know. I'm just giving you a bad time.
Anyway, so he realized basically he's realizing that if we can't be friends, we can be connected in other ways. And Bruce is asking how he's entertaining the madness, which apparently is. And I've heard this from actual psychologists. You have to entertain the crazy if you're dealing with a really unstable person. Sometimes
Yeah, I can verify that. Like if you're basically you never want to call a crazy person crazy because that could be like a really, really bad tipping off point.
you have to kind of go along with the madness sometimes.
Hmm.
Just at least see where it goes or entertain it while you're looking for a way out or something.
Sure, sure.
So then we have you'll see in time. You'll see in time. He bites the sandwich, and again the whole
You'll
thing he wants.
see. I'll show ya.
And again, that's the thing. I love that. Again, I love the how Cameron Monaghan. I think this is one of his best episodes. I really do because again, he knows exactly what he's doing. And by the way, the hair and the makeup I think looks. I really love the way it turned. I love the way visually he turned out because you can kind of see the hair. He's out of the white outfit he was wearing before, which is good. But this is even better. He's kind of wearing a kind of a bluish purple getup. He's got the green hair now. He looks. My point is, he looks great. He looks very. He used to look a little bit more Tom King. I like the thing about this, Steve. They keep switching up the Joker looks each episode, the proto Joker looks each episode.
Sure, sure.
We had him in the white outfit, then we had him looking identical to Tom King Batman at the end of last episode, and then we're kind of getting to this point now where he's, the whole like today's the big day. That's Tom King Batman, and now he's just kind of looking kind of classical kind of Joker with like a big coat.
All right, and Dragon, also, I just got to point this out. We have to kind of pick up the pace a little bit because we're not even halfway through the episode, and we've been on for an hour, and we only have about a half hour's worth of free time left. So
okay, let's.
Yeah, just wanted to put that. Just put that out there. All right.
All right. So anyway, so he takes a bite of the sandwich. He's like, do you realize I made fun of the sandwich, but actually it's really good. That's what I thought. So you basically say, okay, I got to cut this short. I got to cut this short. He triggers the bomb as he leaves. Destiny's afoot. We got to get everything into high gear. We're going to, our destinies going to meet each other a little bit later on. We got to, get the show star, that sort of stuff. And basically, this is kind of lights the fire that Bruce has to save Alfred before the bomb goes off in Wayne Manor. Let's see. Meanwhile.
Yeah, so we have another scene with Gordon and Lee. Let's see.
They're at Ace Chemicals now. They're actually at. Of course, we find Ace Chemicals.
So everything's kind of lining up, and this is what I'm talking about with the Arkham games of it all. Is we have kind of like a side meetup with the Mad Hatter. It's like, hey, there he is. He's not doing, he's not like a huge fixture of the episode or the plot or anything, but he's there. God damn it! It's like a side boss battle.
And he's reflecting on the season 3 memories of memories.
I just love how jovial he is to see Gordon. He's just like, well, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
Or they show up and basically reveal that the whole chessmen of it all is that the chessmen were hypnotized by Jervis Tetch for muscle, so they can basically kind of manufacture the chemicals and everything. So Mad Hatter's working for Jeremiah just because he's crazy and he wants to hypnotize people. That's why he's doing. He just wants
pretty
to do
much. I believe it, Dragon. It checks out on my end.
It does. Anyways, that's why he's doing the stuff, and that's pretty much. It's like, oh look, my friends from all my season 3 memories of like I made you try to shoot her, and then all that stuff happened, and you got my sister killed, and then I infected her with the virus, but it doesn't kind of bore him with all the details.
Again, at this point, the characters might as well just be referring to past events from what season they happened on.
Certainly. An emphasis on Echo, on kind of our proto Harley, kind of wheels on the scene wearing roller skates, and she kind of knocks out Jim very brutally, by the way. I think she hits him like a aluminum bat or something. It's like, oh, God. So she's
back to our regular root image here.
Yes. Sorry, yeah, we're back to the regular.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. So, Selena, meanwhile. Sorry?
I just said go ahead. Okay.
Right. So then that's the kind of keep it simple. Selena fills Barbara in on basically she's essentially it sounds like Selena's using the Penguin to escape, and then she'll double cross him and kind of steal his loot and kill him for what he did to Tabitha. Because Tabitha was her friend and mentor too. Therefore, again, Selena hasn't forgotten. But again, it was pretty convincing. The Penguin had a very convincing argument. That's the wonderful thing about Robin Lord Taylor. Man makes a convincing argument as the Penguin. Of course, basically, Selena's asking if Barbara wants in on, as Barbara later phrases it, murder halfsies. She wants to know if she wants murder halfsies on the Penguin. And this is, I get to be away from Jim Gordon. I'll be rich as Midas, and Penguin's going to be dead in the ditch. I'm all for this plan. I'm happy to be a part of this plan. In other words, two single ladies and a baby, and then we have this hilarious bit with Carmen by Condova with Selena here. I just love this delivery where Barbara's like cocking the gun and everything. And there's like a moment of pause, like, "What? What are you looking at like that for? What?" It's just, you're pregnant.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Dragon? I feel like we get maybe one too many like awkward pregnant gags with Barbara. I feel like they forced it in a little too much.
Okay, you're not wrong. The end ones is so funny though. That's the thing. We have to get the ones at the end, but this one's like, I don't know. Here's the thing, they're funny, but yeah, we do them a little.
Oh, the end one is priceless. I will agree to that one. The end is.
They're all. I think you're not
The
wrong.
end is like
all,
a great punchline.
You're not wrong, but they're all kind of funny, so I'm fine with them. All right, let's see. Okay, so Bruce, he's trying to get. So basically, he's trying to get Alfred out of there, and he basically and it's really great. Again, it's clever Bruce Wayne, like the man who will become a Batman. Right here is like kind of
Alfred, there's a gas leak.
Gas leak. Your parents in the guest out? Yeah. I got him out.
I love how concerned Alfred is about the guest.
Yep. Well, he brought Tiki. He brought that lovely Italian meringue cake. Of course, he's.
Yeah, exactly.
Alfred loves Italian meringue. Apparently.
Oh God. Apparently, yes.
Yep. All right. So what happens?
Oh man. Okay. So let's see. So basically, what happens, Dragon, is we get what I like to call the Independence Day shot. Which is, essentially just Wayne Manor just blowing up like the White House blows up in Independence Day.
Yep, and I love like little smiley face on the countdown, basically on like when the bomb's going off, like it keeps going back. It's like the sequencer on the bomb. But yeah, we blow up Wayne Manor. Can you believe it?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty appropriate for an end game type scenario with Gotham. So yeah, I can't believe it, but that doesn't make it any less dramatic. It's a big event for kind of halfway through the final season.
Yep, and of course, if anyone's like concerned about it, well, they rebuilt it in the Nolan movie, so why not?
Exactly.
So it's gonna be fine. Let's rebuild it or buy a new man.
It's gonna be fine, like Lucius Fox was fine in The Dark Knight Rises. One random teenage girl from my screening. Lucius.
Oh, it'll be fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you really think they'd kill off Morgan Freeman? Anyways, I'm sorry, that was a deep cut.
Anyway, so let's see. We have so then Alfred. Basically, they're running through the tunnel, and again, so the idea now is that with Wayne Manor destroyed, the tunnel's been caved in. It's basically the only route out of Gotham now is a no go, thanks to Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have this really sweet bit where Alfred comes to, kind of snaps out of it after kind of the concussion of the explosion. Now like the whole dinner's over, so he's kind of back to normal now. And he remembers everything. He says, "Oh, if I see that Jervis Tetchkin, I'm going to stick that watch so far up," as he realizes his nose. And I love this bit here. Bruce is kind of taking in the whole like the manor, Alfred, and then Alfred has this wonderful response, like, "Don't worry about that now, son." And they give each other a hug, and it's just,
I love the hug, man. The hug is so well timed.
"I thought I lost you, me." Never, Master Bruce. Now go on.
Mm-hmm.
I love the faith that he's putting in Bruce here because he wants to help Bruce out. But he knows like he's going to slow him down because right now Alfred's injured his leg, and sometimes Alfred has a cane. So I wonder if they're going to like kind of make that a permanent fixture. I think it's just a temporary thing, so they can just kind of get Alfred out of the equation. But anyway,
sure.
It tells him to go on, so he's putting his trust in. It's like, go on, Master Bruce. You have to stop him.
Good stuff.
Meanwhile, let's see. So Jim. Jim comes to and he deduces that again. Good detective, Jim Gordon. He deduces that Jeremiah is alive. Therefore, the echo of it all and the chemicals that are being made. I get a sense that Jeremiah Valeska is still alive and he's responsible for the test subjects from earlier. So then, Proto Harley checks in with the boss. Jeremiah, see what she wants to do with with Jim and Lee if he has any sadistic plans for them, while the Mad Hatter is just gonna giving the Mad Hatter the business. He just wants to get revenge on these guys.
What does he say? Mad Hatter like says something like, "I want to hypnotize them to slit each other's necks" or something like that.
Yeah, slit each other's throats. I think it is.
Uh-huh.
Something along those lines.
Appropriate considering I just saw Sweeney Todd about a week ago.
Right. I love this, by the way. A little detail. I love that the Echo has this giant antenna on her cell phone again, kind of just on this radio cell phone, I guess. She's just this giant antenna she's pulling up. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did not.
Anyway, so it's really funny too. If you go back to it, anyway, so Jim tries to apologize for the whole Barbara situation, and she's like, "Save it for after we escape." And of course, the two of them kind of work on a plan to kind of tease the Mad Hatter and hopefully kind of rattle him so they can escape or something. They call him an errand boy. I didn't know you were Jeremiah Valeska's errand boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm just having fun. And then Lee really rubs it in. Lee plays dirty, which is here's a second raider with a silly hat. So then they get the order. So then the Mad Hatter gets the order for what Jeremiah wants to do with them, and it's a doozy, and I can't wait to get to that. But so Lee, he says, "Oh, Leslie Tompkins, always running from your past. You become a doctor, a queen of the Narrows. I wonder what you'll become next." And of course, he pulls out the watch. All right.
I like how both of Gordon's love interests in this show have technically been like crime lords.
Yep.
All right.
By the way, Nate earlier said, like, coming to Fox this fall, 2 single ladies and a baby, followed by the wacky adventures of two Gotham criminals, and one of them is pregnant.
Oh God.
I would at least give that spinoff a shot. What do you think?
Well, Dragon, I want to give that Alfred spinoff a shot.
Oh God.
Hey, the Alfred spinoff is a better idea than Aunt May.
Fair enough. All right, so Selena.
I'm waiting for Scott Lang to name one of his aunts Aunt May. By the way,
that would be perfect. But getting back. Anyway, so so Selena and Penguin, they're trying to escape through the tunnel, but again they find that the tunnel's been blown up, and then of course Alfred emerges from the tunnel and basically gives them the lowdown, all the stuff. And he reveals that Jeremiah Valeska, Jeremiah is alive, which again is like basically kind of undoes all the point of no return stuff. With Selena's like, wait a minute, he's alive, and I don't have to. Basically, she doesn't have to get out of Gotham like there's no tomorrow anymore, because people don't think soon they'll learn that he's alive, which means she's not the person that killed Jeremiah Valeska.
And I'm sorry, can I just point out the obligatory like, "Oh my, if it isn't Miss Kyle, I punched you in the face several seasons ago."
Okay.
I'm sorry, just like Alfred just seems to find himself in like odd character combinations this season.
He does, but we do have this. So basically, Alfred he's telling Selena that Bruce is in danger, and again, it's a really big a moment of choice for Selena. Like, is she going to do the right thing here? Because again, she says some really harsh words to Bruce that she probably didn't mean, but she said, like, I watched your parents die. I didn't help you out. Didn't do anything because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not a hero. I'm not a little helper.
It was basically like a lighter version of "I watched Jane die."
Pretty much, yes, it is. Pretty much. So then she makes a big choice here because Alfred can't do it, so she goes and as she does, like, Penguin's like, wait a minute. Of course, as he does it, she really threatens the Penguin here. She's like, she puts a knife to his throat and her razor sharp claws like to his face, like, don't you think because I didn't kill Jeremiah, I won't kill you for what you did to Tabitha? So you deserve it. So then, of course, Alfred says, Bruce needs you like right now. You gotta go. So basically saves the Penguin's bacon. We have this hilarious bit between the Penguin and Alfred. How's it go?
Sorry, Dragon. You're kind of calling me out on. I don't really have it on my notes. Sorry.
Okay, well, essentially, I guess I'll give you some thanks. And Alfred says, like, you ask you if there's anything I could do for you. Like, you could help get me to the green zone. You could. Oh, sure, green zone's that way. Just points the direction. Just the
Right,
penguin.
right,
Like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's like, what a prick. Sometimes the penguin, we love him to pieces, but sometimes just such a prick. That's why we love him. It was just he's a pleasantry, it's a little nice moment, but you couldn't have helped him out. The man has a limp, and you yourself have a limp. You really couldn't have.
Exactly, exactly. It's like, come on, we have to find solidarity in each other
Right.
in these troubled times, Dragon.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Boy, oh boy, here we go. One of my favorite sequences in the whole thing right now. We have the Monarch.
Just remember, we have like 20 minutes of airtime left, so
I got it.
I mean, we don't have to end right at the top of the hour, but you know what I mean.
Go to the Monarch Theater, which of course big, the theater where they saw the movie, of course, and right around Crime Alley. So I love this, and I didn't see him going this way, and I absolutely loved it. Again, the Zorro thing.
Well, of course, we knew from the top of the season there was that spoiler, that kind of leak that we talked about, that there was going to be a third version of the Joker, and you and I were kind of perplexed by it. We were like, what are they going to do? Are they going to do like a third twin or what?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Dragon, speaking of third twin, I just because I see the opportunity to drop this in. 3 Identical Strangers now on Hulu. Check it out.
You telling me that, or are you telling us the?
I'm telling you that mostly.
I've already seen it.
Oh, okay. So I assume it'll be part of movie memoirs this month.
You would be correct, sir.
All right. Cool. Yay, housekeeping. Anyways.
Anyway, so we're at the Monarch Theater, and again, basically the whole episode was kind of living up to my expectations, but this is the scene that surpassed it right here. This scene, like, oh my god, this is perfect.
I will go as far as to say that this might be one of the most disquieting scenes of the show.
And again, this just feels so. Oh god, this feels like a scene like this wasn't in Endgame, but it feels like it belongs in Endgame. It really does. So I love the framing. I love the framing where you have basically Bruce is like in he's in the balcony, I guess. It's like kind of towards the top of the theater, and he can look down. And you see his parents in the seats, pretty much where they exactly sat on the night they died watching the movie. And they have a black and white movie projecting on the screen. I was wondering, are they going to do it? Because again, it's not always set in stone. I mean, it's supposed to be Zorro. It's always supposed to be the mark of Zorro. However, sometimes they update it. Sometimes they change it.
Sometimes it's the opera, like in the Nolan trilogy.
Sometimes it's a legal thing.
I like the opera choice, by the way. I like that because it would be something that would be overly intense for a kid.
It would be, but I'm an old school. I like the whole the Zorro kind of the ipso effect, and I always loved the old the creation of Batman was somewhat influenced by Zorro, and that's like one of the few things Bob Kane did add to the character was the whole Zorro angle. So Anyway, point being, all of that. My point being, Zorro is not always a guarantee. So Tiki, getting honest to goodness Zorro in live action. We've never seen Zorro in live action.
That's true.
Seeing it in live action and the black and white movie.
Now, Dragon, can you tell me how this worked?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like the whole what actor is playing Zorro? Is it Cameron Monaghan or?
It is Cameron Monaghan.
Okay. I had a feeling.
So here's the thing. Okay, so one, I love that it's the Doug. They use the Doug Fairbanks version of the Mark of Zorro. Which sometimes there's two versions of Mark well, not counting the the modern remake. God, with Antonio Banderas, not including the Antonio Banderas.
Oh, okay.
Not including that, you had two original black and white versions. You have Tyrone Power and you have Doug Fairbanks. I think Doug Fairbanks was the first because this is 1920. So, point being, you have the Doug Fairbanks version of Zorro, which is great. And again, we've had the timeless setting in Gotham, so they can get away with this sort of thing here. Where again, they're kind of timeless, and again, perhaps like Bruce and his family are into old movies. And again, you want to get deep cuts, man. You go all the way back to season 1 of Gotham. I think it's episode 2 or 3. Bruce is watching a black and white kind of Zorro-esque character on a small screen.
Mm-hmm.
You and I called that out way back when. Again, kind of a masked crusader, and Tiki, they went there.
Oh dear.
They went there. They paid it off in a big way. Where again, Bruce was into the black and white kind of classic Crusaders thing, and they stuck with that. They stuck to their guns, and we saw honest to goodness Zorro.
Sure.
And again, not only Zorro, then we get to the sadistic thing of it all here, where it's Jeremiah. So the idea is, since it's the Joker putting on a Zorro costume, And he's going all flamboyant and everything with he's acting like Zord, putting on the Spanish accent and everything. He's just like, "Ole, hello, Bruce," and it's so creepy. He's making this video for Bruce. He's in costume. I love the transitions, by the way. Because remember, like, he flails the cape and basically he's in costume then because he's just a man with a sword that unmasked to show that it's him. Then he's in the full getup with the mask and the hat and everything with the cape, and again the big precursor of what he's going to be with Batman. So again, I love that he's shaping what Batman becomes with the cape and everything here. Again, it's having an impact.
Mm-hmm.
You were obsessed with this man as a child. What intrigued you so? Was it how he struck fear into the hearts of his enemies? Which Tiki, my God, when he said the way he struck fear into the hearts of his enemies, Tiki, that's the vow from the first appearance from the origin of Batman, man. That's like, I swear on the spirits of my parents, I will
Right,
the superstitious and cowardly, man. That's the classic Batman.
Of course.
So then, of course, this is where we get the sadistic kind of Joker-like thing right here, where he basically has kind of the villains that Zordon will go up against, kind of the Marauders and such, strapped to dollies. The 4 victims we saw from earlier, we get to see them in the black and white footage being. I love this too. Echoes in the back again. So it feels like, one of my favorites. It feels like Laughing Fish, where Harley's in the black and white kind of commercial. It feels a lot like that, where Echo's wheeling them in, and she's kind of waving in the background, wearing wear like an old Spanish dress and everything. It's hilarious. So she's wheeling them in. They're all like duct tape like swords out, so you can kind of fence with them hilariously, where they're just completely helpless. And then of course he's carving the Z into them. And then things get personal. Things get really twisted and really. Oh God, I love it here where he says, "It's so effective and so frightening." Here he says, perhaps it was too effective." And this is the part that frightened you, wasn't? This feels so Snyder. This feels like Scott Snyder writing to me right here. It says, "This is the part that made you afraid, wasn't it? This is the part where you asked to leave the movie because it was a little intense for you. When they carved the Z's into the guys." Mm-hmm. I wonder what would have happened if you had continued. If you had conquered your fear. Maybe they'd both still be alive.
Oh yeah.
On to our final stop. So then on to the final stop as they leave, as they go to Crime Alley, essentially, and kind of leads them out. Oh God! So again, seriously, I love that he's like looking down at the cameras. The point is that whole scene that I can go on about. But the point is it's an excellent, creepy, effective sequence. So Bruce is watching them kind of leave the theater, and he's racing to kind of stop them. And then this is the legit end game of it all right here. This scene specifically, this is the end game of it all, where he staged Crime Alley and everything with a different family. It was like a different family and a kid that he was going to take victims and put them in the exact same positions as the Wayne family, and kill them.
These were the people that got the facial surgery earlier in the episode, right?
Well, sure, but again, it was they didn't do the surgery element of it in the comic, but here's the thing. So we
no. I'm just trying to follow along with the actual show, how Jeremiah did the switcheroo.
They leave the theater, but again, between the time Bruce gets down to the theater and gets to the alley, the switch was made.
Okay.
So Bruce is running down the alley, and of course sees them from behind, and he's calling like, "Snow, wait, don't do this!" And again, my heart goes out to Mazuz here and what he's doing in this scene because it's beautiful. It's like the desperation of this kid, like, "No, don't do it again, please!" Again, this is the kid's being put through psychological torture this episode, right?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the scary thing about it is that it's like what Jeremiah is doing here, Dragon, is he's building off of the fear and the trauma of the sense of the inevitability and the fate of the parent's death. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, you're literally watching this play out and you don't get to change anything about it. You're just going to sit there and watch it. Dragon, it's like, I don't know how deep you're into like studying your own dreams or everything, but I can tell you that I've had nightmares of like experiencing past traumas in my life and just being like, no, I don't want to experience this again. Like, let me wake up from it. And this is kind of that sort of like nightmare scenario sort of put forth.
Exactly, man. This great identical framing of like Bruce in between the two parents, again, from the earlier scene, again, all the way back to the famous like staging of the origins, perfectly staged. And Jeremiah again. I like how Jeremiah and Nate brought this up earlier. Jeremiah is kind of going through a realization process. When he ate that sandwich earlier on, it's like again he was realizing that hey, I thought we could be together, but again he's kind of ushering the realization that what you're never going to accept me, because again he projected him at that earlier dinner scene. Tiki. He was hoping that Bruce would accept him, and he kind of snapped at him in saying that hey, you and I. If you won't let me into your heart through loving measures, if you just won't open your heart to me, I'm going to force my way in there through Trump. Basically, almost like carving a whole new fresh wound, so I can just kind of re-traumatize. He's going to try to re-traumatize him.
Mm.
Essentially, what he's saying is, I came to the realization, no matter what I do to bond us together, the gunman in the alley will be the man you're tied to most. The man you see every time you close your eyes. And then we have I love this out of context, by the way. It's kind of meta out of context. I love it. It's just, he has this great posing. I want to be the star of the show.
God, that is rather meta.
It's a perfect Joker line, but also I think it's one of my favorite Cameron Monaghan deliveries. Just like, I want to be the star of the show, which is its fourth wall breaking, but it's also just him looking and spelling out like, I want to be the star of your night. Basically saying, every time you close your eyes, I want to be the star of that show. I want to be on your mind 24/7, buddy boy, which again is kind of the scary, obsessive, kind of cutting thing of the Joker Batman dynamic right there. Like, he wants to be on this guy's mind, in the back of his mind always. So then let's see. So if you won't bond with me as my brother by love, then it'll be by hatred. Again, that's, as I already mentioned, that's Snyder in a nutshell. That's the whole arc of the Snyder arc in a nutshell. What he went with Endgame and Death of the Family. So then Bruce again does all he can here to try to talk him out by saying, "Look, killing two lookalikes won't do it." Then Jeremiah hits him with the big switch of it all, and I'm on the edge of my seat. And I called this, by the way. I did call this. Where he says, "Oh, I already put a bullet in the back of those two those frauds. I put a bullet in the back of their skulls. They're dead." Then he tells them to turn around. Thomas, Martha, turn around. And they turn around. And it's revealed to be Jim Gordon and Leslie Tompkins.
Dun, dun.
Oh God! So I was happy I called this one. This is great. So he basically saying, "Fate
she loves me."
Oh God. So Jeremiah's kind of gloating here. Says, "I guess fate brought them to me, and I said, why not? The man you think of as a second father, and your dear friend Leslie Tompkins, which history of the show. Let's look. It's a great moment.
Yeah, not quite.
Yeah, I know, but they're pulling comics on that one. Right? Ordinarily,
yeah, I know. I realize that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The episode, like, this is a perfect thing, but if only we could have restructured Lee a little bit, just a little bit, this would be perfect.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing: if Thomas Wayne had a mustache,
oh God,
if he had a mustache, he would have gotten the Gordon mustache here. But that's the thing. Ordinarily Thomas Wayne has a mustache, but in this show, only this in the Arkham games took away Thomas Wayne's mustache. Why? It doesn't matter. I'm getting tripped up. Anyway, so the point is, so they're in the position there, and the fireworks get pulled up. Basically, echo with the fireworks that are about to kind of descend over the city. And of course, once this happens, and again, this is the grand scheme of it all right here. This whole plan, the whole theme of our proto Joker's crimes here is reunification. He wants to reunify he and Bruce again together in a stronger way than ever before. He wants to kind of be alone on no man's land with them, and to kind of cement that, he's going to kind of launch. He's going to launch the toxic fireworks that are going to go over Gotham, which means the reunification of the city will never happen. At least will be severely delayed. So as this is all happening, then we have like the kicker where when there's a hypnotic command where when the pearls hit the ground like they did with Martha when she was killed, the two of them will snap out of it, and then they'll regain themselves, their senses, and then they'll realize that this is what's happening to them and why this is happening to them. And again, that to me that's the most psychological. Oh my God, that's classic Joker screwing with Batman right there. That is twisted what he's doing there. And then of course with the ultimate line, remember Bruce, this is all for you, Bruce.
God.
So then,
Backwards logic there.
yeah, it is all for Bruce, and that's the family for you. That's like, yeah, she's doing it to help him. He's like, this is all for us, man, you and I. You know, you're gonna love again.
To
Essentially, saying you're.
paraphrase the room. But Bruce, you always play psychologist with us.
Oh God. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you're gonna, whether you love me or not, you're going to always think of me because of what I do here this night, this very important night. Again, it's really great, twisted stuff. Then Selena, a beautiful full circle moment and proof that Selena does care. Selena, again, I love this, man. I got so choked up when I was watching this, where Selena, she's on the same fire escape she was 5 years ago. And she stops essentially a Wayne murder from happening. She uses her whip, she gets the gun out of there, Bruce is
Right,
fighting
right.
Jeremiah, she grabs the pearls, basically kind of helps save the day. Meanwhile, Bruce is going after everyone snapped out of it, so now Jim has to stop Echo with basically he has to go stop the fireworks from going off. There won't be any fireworks.
Oh God.
So Bruce is going after Jeremiah while Jim's dealing with the kind of the fireworks situation. Again, I love a very no man's land related problem while Bruce is dealing with the personal struggles. So that's a perfect, that's classic Batman Gordon stuff. That kind of like Dark Knight Rises, where Batman's dealing with the main conflict, where Gordon's helping out on the side.
Okay.
So he tells Lee he's going to go to the Greens and warn everybody. Meanwhile, we have the showdown, big showdown. So of course, here we go, folks. Like one part 89, one part Under the Red Hood, and the other part 0 years. Basically, they do this scene in 0 years.
Maybe like a tiny little bit of Killing Joke in there as well.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, in essence, yeah. If you want to be technical, sure. I'm just saying, like in the whole staging of like the staging of the fight is like purely out of 89, keeping it just on the one catwalk.
Sure.
But again, this whole like the lighting and everything, and that's 0 year, and of course, it's in essence, Red Hood. But again, Killing Joke, if you want to be specific, yeah, sure, Killing Joke.
Right.
Point being, this is like kind of the age
line from the trailer, which I loved. This ends tonight, Jeremiah. No, Bruce. Tonight it begins.
And for me, takes me back to one of my favorite all-time Batman lines. At least the one I keep going to whenever I try to like think of Kevin Conroy doing the Batman voice from Phantasm. It's this madness ends now. I keep thinking of that line. It kind of reminds me of like this ends tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So the two of them are going up against each other. It's just perfectly staged, folks. Like they're on the catwalks. They're going up against each other, and it begins, and it's the idea like Tiki. They're starting the dance. They're going to be dancing for the rest of their lives. And it's great. And classic Dark Knight Returns of it all too. Like he has even slashed him earlier on, like in the alley. He slashed him across the chest, like just like Dark Knight Returns. It's great. Just like the knife comes out and they're getting ready to mix it up and fight. And it's the green lighting, man. I don't know. I'm geeking out of the green lighting. So the point is, Bruce is beating the crap out of Jeremiah in a very loving way. It feels very Arkham Origins-esque. Remember Arkham Origins, where they did like kind of the big beat me, and basically the big whole the I love you scene from that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it's like basically he's all loving towards him. It's like, oh, you feel the connection, don't you? Tell me you feel. And Bruce is beating the crap out of him. And then we have like a bit from Death of the Family here. It says, "You mean nothing to me." Then we hit the part that Tiki, my favorite moment. Basically, you can tell by the root image we picked. This is my favorite moment of the episode.
Yeah, and like I said, Dragon, this kind of goes back to like we were trying to figure out where the third and final version of the Joker was going to come from, and I sort of can't figure out why I didn't pick this out because it makes so much sense now.
Oh yeah. So basically, we create that third and final version. Well, we create that third version of it from this event. So here we go. It's this beautiful. I'm sorry. So I love the scene. So I'm trying to focus on it. I love this. He's expressing his feelings and kind of the destiny of it all to Bruce Wayne here. This is a scene we've been waiting 5 seasons for, man.
Uh-huh.
Where he's throwing Bruce like up against the railing. I love in this shot. You can even see it. You can see the railing. I love how you can see the railings all loose and rickety, and it's like it's holding on by just so much and so little. And it's the intensity of the scene and the performance by the both of them. And I think this might be Cameron Monaghan's finest performance right here. Just, why don't you understand? You need me. Why don't you understand? I'm the answer to your life's question. Then we have the line that I'm still thinking of to this after watching it so many times, man. I love this line. So I think it's one of the great lines. I don't. This line's probably been some Batman comic in his 80-year history, but I love this line so much. Just without me, and I love how Karen Monahan delivers this. Without me, you're a joke.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Then horrified by the prospect of it, he kind of delivers kind of again in a caring manner. I love how much he cares about it. Like, without me, you're a joke.
Yeah, that's always been the scary thing about the Batman and Bruce Wayne dynamic. Dragon is just how much the Joker and the Bruce Wayne dynamic is just how much the Joker does take it on an emotional level. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the Scott Snyder stuff, like to him, he really is like a man scorned by a lover or something like that. It's terrifying.
Absolutely, and again, like how hurt and worried he is. I love at like the concern after the whole, without a punchline. That's basically kind of like tantamount to like the whole you complete me. But again, more to what their cosmic dynamic is, where he's Batman without a Joker, without his other end. He's just a guy in a costume, without the other guy to balance him out. Like without the guy to necessitate a man in a bat costume, he is a joke. He's a joke. He's just a kid with mommy and daddy issues. That's essentially what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, without his punchline, again, the punchline being on the flip side of things, like Joker is just this unstoppable force without the guy punching him in the face, without kind of the delivery of like, yes, these two need each other. They need, like, in the joke of Batman is that he creates his villains and that he creates the Joker. Therefore, and that's the punchline. That's why their relationship works. But again, all of that distilled to a single line. That's so great. Then, as he gets so invested in that, again, he goes for the kill, goes for the fight of it all, and Bruce dodges out of the way and he goes over the railing and into the vat of chemicals. Mm-hmm. It's a big moment. I love Mizzou just kind of looking at it, just kind of taking.
I love how they just linger on it. You know what I mean? It's like we see him fall in, and the camera is just. You know what it reminds me of, Dragon? I know that you're not a big fan of Lord of the Rings, but it reminds me of the moment where, spoiler alert, Gollum falls into Mount Doom at the end of Return of the King, and we just kind of linger on the shot. It's like, all right, like. He's there. He's in the chemicals. We know what this means.
Absolutely. Again, it's a monolithic moment in the history of Batman. It is, especially for Gotham. It's a big payoff, and I love we kind of foreshadow it too with Jimmy he jumped out of the truck as the chemicals went in the water outside, and I love this. So again, we focus on the chemicals and we see the chemicals, and I love this transition. I hope you kind of picked up on this as I.
Oh, this is a fantastic transition. Yes, absolutely.
So again, the truck is in the water, and again, the water is now turning green because of the chemicals. And again, this is also kind of the ending of '89, where the balloons were kind of dragged, kind of elsewhere, like under the water, like one of those things. And then basically the truck's going down in the green water, and it looks like red eyes, like in the green water, which is it's a haunting image. It's a great transition, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then we have Jim looking at kind of what he thinks is crisis averted, but again, it's like seeing the green water and everything, but also it's a little indicative of year one, where the ending of year one is some maniacs poisoned the water supply, which of course Joker. All right. So let's see, we got a little bit of aftermath.
We get a little bit of light comedy to end off the episode in some respects with Penguin and Riddler finally reuniting.
Yep, and of course, just saying, after you've done all this stuff, put a chip in my brain, you sold me out.
You named a dog after me. Okay, for the record, I'm very fond of that dog.
Of course, I saved you from Hugo Strange, and did you really think I didn't have a plan to save you from Jim Gordon? Then basically, Penguin makes the sales pitch of, look, you and I, we've been through this already. Fate has different plans for us. Gotham has turned into a prison. I think it's time you and I both escaped. In the history of the show, these two guys, they've escaped prisons before. They've escaped the Court of Owls together. These guys have worked together. And again, a whole episode about kind of people changing as well as kind of like these everlasting dynamics. I love that we're kind of doing a little bit of that with Enigma and Penguin. That's kind of nice. All right, so then we have Jim and Lee. So Jim and Lee, basically we learned the government's a no-show until Gotham's safe, which basically means they're probably going to be set back a couple months. And again,
so basically they heard about the funny business.
Icky, they heard about the funny business.
Dragon, I'm sorry. The more and more we talk about this, I'm just picturing the government guy on the other end being like an uncool substitute teacher is the way I would describe my mind's mental image of him.
I said no funny
I
business.
told you kids, no funny business.
Which means no pizza party.
Exactly.
No pizza party or reunification.
Like just the substitute teacher that no one takes seriously.
Yep.
All right. Anyways.
So, Jim, basically, so after this, of course, we have the great Jim Gordon line here of like right back where we started. I think it's like one step forward, two steps back. Like the characters, he's hoping, but it's just like the system's just he's working against them here. It's like they're supposed to be on our side, and yet again, we've been set back a couple of months where we desperately need the help. So we're right back where we started. So Jim says he wishes things could be
it's
different.
kind of like jumping hoops through an insurance company. What I mean?
Yeah, it is pretty much dealing with an insurance company. Yeah. All right. So let's see. So Jim wishes things you could have done things better between them, and of course she's. You say that, yet you say that yet again. You end up with Barbara, and you're having a baby with her. Of course, especially after you and I almost had it. I think it's the first time they've ever mentioned it. By the way, the two of them, like almost, again, they almost had the baby and everything. So it says, well, we have to live. Basically, they kind of summarize a little bit here. They kind of decide to live with the past, and we have this moment where she slaps Jim, and then she kisses him. We're saying like, I'm not happy about it, but I still like you. Pretty much where they end up with things. So, yeah,
very much a noir moment, Dragon. I'm loving that Gordon's getting two noir relationships in this season.
Yeah, things are going good for him.
Like back in the season 3, season 4 days, I think I would have groaned at the idea of a Lee Babs love triangle, but the fact that they have made it so noir, I think makes it very palatable.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. So then, we reveal. Oh yeah, so we reveal a comatose and disfigured Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he? Well, again, he's probably gonna be a little transformed. So Anyways, so point being, emphasis on comatose. We have a comatose and disfigured Jeremiah, who's no longer a threat to either. Basically, Bruce is kind of saying, like, I can't believe he's alive, but he's comatose. He's not a threat to either of us right now. He thanks Selena for the help. And we have this beautiful bit with Selena where Selena says, the night your parents were killed, I should have done something. And Bruce has this line, just again, the Batman-Catwoman dynamic. And again, Tiki, in the grand scheme of things, it's so nice about this. Again, the first two characters ever introduced, the characters that Batman's always intrinsically linked to. Joker first and foremost, but also Catwoman. The first two villains introduced in, I think they're both introduced in Batman #1, technically.
Sure.
Anyway. So, you've done enough. He just gives his perfect response. You've done enough, Selena. In a loving way. Out of context, it might read, you've done enough, but no, that you've done enough. So then we have take him through the final hilarious scene.
Okay, so I love how so quickly the tides have turned on the Penguin and Riddler dynamic. Like Penguin's now excitedly showing off that, he's giving Riddler the grand tour. He's like, all right, it's not much, but it's home, it'll do. And then we have Barbara. Barbara's basically kind of threatening to kill Penguin, but Riddler calls out like, wait a minute, you're pregnant. You're absolutely glowing.
Tiki, I love when Riddler does this sort of stuff. I love when she's the smartest man in the room. It's like, how the heck does he know this?
Right.
You're glowing. It's obvious. So I just love, if you look on a rewatch, you see Robin Lord Taylor's expressions, the shock and all. Like, but wait, what? It's great.
All right.
So he sees an opportunity.
Like we're trying to get to the revenge, but the pregnancy just keeps coming up, and it's hilarious.
So Penguin's suggesting they team up because Enigma's figured a way.
If you don't want to raise your child in a toxic war zone, then come with us. Why not?
And how do we get out?
Through the tunnels.
No,
I'm sorry, not through the tunnels. Via a submarine, Dragon.
Okay, so tell me.
A freaking submarine.
Now tell me you had the same realization.
What realization would that be?
60s Batman movie.
Yes, indeed.
And again, it's also with the Penguin and with the Riddler, which is even more befitting. And the fact that the Penguin having a submarine. It's the fact it's Penguin having a submarine, which is just perfect.
Uh-huh.
It's so. Here's the thing. Again, I don't. It sounds insane, but again, it's like the show's always '60s Bat. It's a dark. It's Returns meets '60s Batman in terms of tone. That's what the show is. Where again, they kind of sold me on the logic. Where again, there's a minefield in the water, and the submarine could detect that. You can track mines, so they're going to build a submarine. Which again, if you're going to justify the Penguin having a submarine, well, that's how you do it. But of course, then we have the whole. Well, okay, who has the submarine? We have to build it. Of course, Lisa's, okay, I'm going to shoot you now. Says, okay, wait. And of course, then as she tries to shoot him, she can't because, again, she's kind of trying to change it. There's something in her is trying to be a better person. Therefore, she's not shooting him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine, deal. Call me when it's ready. And then we have what's the last line?
So who's the lucky father?
Robin Lord Taylor. He ends it. This is the best, hilarious, just the perfect delivery there. It's like, who's the lucky father?
He's just so happy-go-lucky about it.
I just can't wait for him to find out, too.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's going to be hilarious. All right.
Okay, so Dragon, we're obviously running a little short on time, so I would like you to just kind of quickly bullet point yada yada through your spec, because we've only got a day to go before the episode anyways.
All right, we're going to keep this short. So again, the promo from that at least that I've seen, I think you've seen as well, is she's trying to.
I have not seen the promo for the record.
All right, well, fine. Promo is real nice and simple here. Where they're trying to undo the damage that Jeremiah did to the water, to Gotham's waters. Again, the water supply has been poisoned. There's an aftermath, and they're going basically Bruce and Alfred are going to the sewers to fix something. At least they're going to. They're taking a little field trip to the Gotham sewers, which I'm sure is going to be an enlightening experience.
Uh-huh.
There's a look-alike that there's someone who looks remarkably like Killer Croc down there. And we see two Barbaras. I kid you not, Tiki. The big Tiki. Follow me on this.
I'm trying, man.
Tiki, I kid you not. I swear to God, this is what's in the promo. Okay, follow me on this.
Right now.
You just get ready for it. Okay.
Okay.
You have two Barbaras, like two Aaron Richards, two Barbaras, one holding a gun on the other one, and the other with the gun on. Follow me. I'm getting there.
Oh man.
Okay. Barbara's grabbing the other Barbara and holding a gun on her, and the one that has the gun on her is saying, "Shoot her!" What are you waiting for? It's basically shoot the fake one. It's like literally they're doing that.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, so that's all. Okay, that's a spec. Okay, so first off,
that's kind of like me just throwing my arms up and being like, "You got me, show."
Okay, so it was first and foremost with the Barbara thing, Clay Babs.
Yes, I can see that.
Clay Babs, and what basically on the whole, what I think they're doing is they're using the water as an excuse to set. I think next episode is going to be primarily in dealing with the aftermath. It's going to be setting up some additional Batman villains for the very end. When we do kind of that, we check in with Zaz. I keep getting out. We're going to set up the villains in the very last episode. It's we're probably going to reintroduce Clayface and I presume Killer Croc in the sewers. Basically, there's a big guy with kind of a deformed-looking face, but it's kind of hard to tell if he's really crocodile-like. But he's a big guy, so I kind of, to me, sounds like Killer Croc. I'd be completely wrong on that, but it's a Killer Croc-looking guy to me. Not a lot beyond that. Just the episode's called "Nothing Shocking," which, again, given that whole Clay Barber thing, very befitting.
All right.
Let's see. Okay, so I have one. Basically, I have one big call. It's a very simple big call. Okay, I think the reintroduction of the Joker is going to be. I think we're going to do a Dark Knight Returns thing because I think he's comatose, and once Batman appears, I think that's going to wake him up. And we're going to do the whole.
So basically, you're saying that most of the rest of the season is going to be probably the Bane stuff, and then we'll get to the Joker at the very end.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think at the very end, if not most I expect from Tiki is maybe he's in the last episode, but for me, I'd be satisfied with him in just the last couple, the last 2 minutes.
Oh wow!
I'll be satisfied with the last 2 minutes, but at most it could be the last episode. But that's as far as I'd imagine it. And here's the thing: I'm calling. This is my call. It could go either way, but I think that he's gonna come out of it Dark Knight Returns style when Batman's like coming over the news or something while he's in the hospital. It's gonna wake him up, and he like the body's gonna disappear. Like someone's gonna go in the room, he's gonna be gone. Then he's gonna be reintroduced like in full get up and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I think my theory is that he's gonna have the slate wiped clean, but he's gonna know deep. He's gonna be obsessed with Batman, but he doesn't know why. Because
I like that. Stuff. I like that. It's creepy.
Which again kind of taps into some Scott Snyder stuff with the whole like, does he know he's Bruce Wayne or not? So I think
sure.
that's my call for it, and that's really all. And of course the whole '60s. I think it's safe to say the whole '60s submarine escape is going to go belly up, most likely thanks to Bane.
Okay.
Because again, we know Penguin and Riddler are in there, in the big no man's land, day 391 of it all. Okay, that's all I got. So, final thoughts on your
end. Do we have any more comments?
Yes, we. Yeah. I got to. Sorry, I got to comb through those.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if there's anything really jumps out at me. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of love for Greg Capullo's artwork, which I agree. I disagree with Nate saying Jim Lee's artwork's better, but it's opinion. But I still say Capullo rocks. Anyway.
It's for subjectivity, Steven.
Yes, what he said. I just love that Jeremiah was making fun of Bruce for the food he loved, like a younger brother trying to be funny. Which it is kind of good. Add some layers to it. I'm proud of the upcoming image for many reasons. Favorite part is basically the thing the second image that we showed. He tried to capture, with the hair. He tried to capture the feel of his hair, which is like the Batman animated series Joker's hair, with the green is like kind of a lighting effect. And
yeah, sure, I can see that.
Good stuff there. I mean, just the percent dismissive. Just kind of trying to read through some of these.
No. Of course.
I love Jeremiah actually admitted he was wrong about the sandwich. He's both crazy and adorable. Basically, kind of like the charismatic kind of Mark Hamill nature of the Joker's kind of was highlighting that. I'm gonna lie, I didn't like Jervis's costume in this. It was the weakest. The flamingo vest, though clever, wasn't my cup of tea. Pun very much intended. Clever Nate. It's clever. Yeah, I was missing the goatee and stuff. I mean, I thought it was good. It was kind of, the goatee was a little off, but again, it was fine, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I feel like the Mad Hatter was just kind of like a mini boss in the grand scheme of things in general.
Okay, Winter Ives has some stuff now, and that's not a lot here. The Winter Ives basically was. Nate had to leave during the thing, though. So again, I think we showed a lot of love to Nate. So I think
oh yeah.
Okay, so Winter Ives, especially Echo in the background, dancing around the background. Basically, the whole like Echo in the back of Mark of Zorro thing, which is hilarious, and kind of noticing that, which it's great. The film kind of puts her in the background twice, which is kind of hilarious too. Also, in the scene, the only I'm sorry, I was trying to read. Doesn't imply there's a second. Basically, implies there might have been a second take of the video when they were shooting the Mark of Zorro. Which is kind of horrifying, the fact that he might have had to restage those guys to get two more guys because he botched the first two. Which is kind of horrifying when you think about it. I think the last thing from Winter Ives here, unless I see anything else in the next couple seconds, I guess, is he wonders if the next episode has Nurse Echo in it. Like there might be like a shot of like Nurse Echo, which like Echo in a nurse's getup. Which I saw a nurse, but I didn't quite put together that was Echo. So I might have just missed that, but I don't know, maybe. Regardless, I'm going to speculate on this though. Winter Ives makes, if that's the case, think about this. Echo checking in on Jeremiah. For his recovery and stuff. Keep an eye on. Maybe she's the one who kind of brings.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What do you got? Final thoughts?
Yeah. Just to keep it short, this was a very, very good episode. I don't know if so far I would consider it the best of the season yet. Definitely in my top 2 or 3. I'd have to watch it to make a judgment on the best of the season. But definitely one of the better Joker episodes. It's it's kind of more of a light and fun Joker episode in a lot of respects, which is nice. It's not like a major like like disturbing Joker episode, like some of the face stuff we got earlier on. And yeah, overall, I like how the show's kind of embracing the the craziness and the like, oh man, in season 2 you tried to kill me, Barbara, like that kind of stuff. I think that all that's very fun, and just in general, I'm really enjoying the build up and the lead into the finale, Dragon. I think we're at a really good pace for a good wrap up to the show, and I'm and I couldn't be happier about it.
For me, I think this episode turned out pretty much like I wanted it to. Like, I'm not splitting hairs. I had a really good time with this episode, and everything pays off. It's rewatchable. I really liked it. I love the the Joker and Batman origin. Has I like the kind of the birth of kind of the Joker and Batman kind of doing their dance for all of eternity. I like that it has an effect on the No Man's Land story of it all. That's what I really want to highlight in the final thoughts. I love that it's like the kind of the dark mythology of it all kind of begins here. The fact that, again, these two kind of kicking things off, like the two of them, like, think about this, the two of them shaking things up like this. It's the reason that No Man's Land is going to keep on going. So all the Bane stuff that's going to follow, it's because I like that this story isn't just like an offshoot. It's not just like a random thing. It's delayed things for No Man's Land for something, so something worse can come. Because again, it's kind of a whole Batman creating his villains thing, where again Bruce Wayne, in the formation of Batman, has made things a lot worse for Gotham, even before he even puts on the cape and cows. It's kind of a neat idea there. Again, this episode has a lot of extra special touches, like the Zorro thing elevated a great deal for me. It has some of the best, it has some of the best Scott Snyder Joker stories. Like a lot of that materials in this, and I really love it. Probably the most out of all the episodes. I think it's probably the most Scott Snyder-esque we've gotten in Gotham in a while, and I love it when we get those sorts of episodes. And this is tremendous with that. And again, all of those elements and those stories are really good stories about kind of the Joker Batman dynamic, kind of applied to this in Bruce Wayne's becoming. So it's a great full circle episode for the series as well. It's the episode I've been waiting for since season 1. It's an episode about Ace chemicals, and that it has an effect on Gotham. Literally, again, it's chemicals plural. It's not just Ace chemical as it would be. It's just Ace chemicals, and that it's how the chemicals are bringing Joker to his final evolution, as well as kind of literally having a chemical effect on Gotham that I believe we're going to see the aftermath of in the next episode. So again, all of it's relative. I think this episode it's pretty solid, especially on a rewatch. I think it's I couldn't be happy with it. So all that said, major thanks to Winter Ives and Nate Productions for checking things out. We're going to see a little bit more Nate Productions as we go forward, I'm sure.
Yeah, and seriously, guys, I really appreciate all the interactivity in the chat, man. Dragon, I'm really loving the growth on the channel we've been experiencing the past couple months, and I want to give you a lot of credit for doing all the outreach on that. Just just generally speaking on the state of the channel in general, I'm just very, very happy about, like, Dragon, did you know we got maybe 4 or 5 new subs just in the space of time that I've been gone?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I've noticed.
So yeah, I'm very happy about that, man. All right, anyway.
All right, so remember, kids, no matter how dark and scary the world may seem right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again.
You're a joke.
But does it come with the Italian meringue pie?
You're a joke without a punchline.